Okay, we're back with more Contradiction. I left myself some notes at the end of the last episode that I'm going to try to follow here. The main thing is that we just got a contradiction from Ryan, and we got to call the chief for an update and talk to Emma, James, and Rebecca. It has been a little bit since I played this game, so if there's something I should know but I'm obviously forgetting, feel free to just tell me. It's fine.
Tell me what you know, Jenks.
I'm a bit lost for ideas at the moment, to be honest, sir.
Anything else happened?
Not really. Did I mention the student in the woods?
No.
A rather obnoxious student carving a devil sign into a tree. Turned out Atlas used the symbol. Simon Thompson explained it. It's to do with a phrase they use on the course, the 3 freedoms. Ryan said he came up with it.
The 3 what?
The 3 freedoms. It's about getting rid of your past, or something.
Sounds as daft as that stuff James Wilson was going on about. Have you found out any more about that?
No, not really.
Well, do a bit of research. Find out what you can about this cult. Who ran it, where they were based. Find out what Ryan Rand knows about it particularly.
Okay, Chief, I'll call later.
Righto.
Makes sense. That hasn't changed these Emma, James, and Rebecca. Okay.
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
Jenks hasn't asked James about this yet.
Ever hear the phrase free to be free? Heard anyone use that?
Nah. What is it, a song?
No, I don't think so. Doesn't matter.
Never heard the phrase before, and I think I've done everything else with this guy. Wait, I have to go left here.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Confirm that shows James is done. I think it will. Emma and Rebecca. I think that's the bar and the dude's house who does his own brewing.
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
Phrase, probably.
Ever heard the phrase free to be free?
You mean the Atlas thing? Yes, I have.
Know what it means?
It means being free of guilt.
What do you think about that?
You mean, do I think it's a bad thing?
Do you? I mean, surely if you have done something wrong.
Oh, but that's the point, Inspector. Most people spend their time feeling guilty over nothing, and that's not a good thing.
Interesting.
That's all for the moment. Thank you.
That's all I got. The note I had left myself is that whenever a character gives you a contradiction that doesn't produce new evidence, you probably need to go talk to other people and then go back to that person to see if something someone else said results in a contradiction. Not completely certain that that's the way it works, but... You haven't asked Emma. Okay.
A couple more questions, if that's okay.
Do you know the phrase free to be free?
Yeah. It's an Atlas thing. I first heard it when I went with Simon.
What did they say about it?
They said that you shouldn't feel guilty if you do something wrong. I don't agree with that.
No?
No. No, I think you should feel guilty if you do something wrong.
What did Simon think?
I don't know, but I don't think he agreed with that either.
Well, I think that taps out my obvious options.
Be back later on, if that's okay.
Let me see what the light bulb says. I can always go back to Ryan, like I was saying. There must be a contradiction somewhere. All right. So the reason I'm going back to Ryan is because I'm operating on the assumption... Oh, shoot. I'm gonna be careful bringing up this screen. It doesn't work with a controller. This is the map. Operating the assumption that when someone gives you one contradiction with no evidence, that you eventually have to come back to them for a second one. But that might not always be true.
A few more questions, please. Thank you.
Phrase about getting rid of guilt and self-doubt. Ryan invented the phrase. Phrase invented, based at the village hall. Ryan has a background in psychology. I don't think that would connect with any of my other things, right? So I can start from the beginning and just kind of remind myself what's going on here. Let's see. Kid finds death. Never seen a license before. Simon does ride a bike. Contradictions have to be with something a person said specifically, so I think talking to other people doesn't unlock them for me. I guess sometimes it gives me extra questions to ask, which will then result in contradictions, but I don't have any for him right now. Symbol not used on the course, which I think we already called him on. First poster for Atlas. Just Rebecca would know. No interest in drugs. No student has ever brought drugs to campus. Pub. Just remember seeing the flyer. I think I used this one already, right? But what all is printed on it? Can I see? I think I have to look at my inventory outside of the conversation here. Let me check. Try using this. Use, can I do info? James made the flyer, doesn't know anything about Third Eye. Doesn't believe anything James said. Truth to the flyer. I don't think I can re-examine the specifics on this, right? I can try looking really close. Open your mind.
Ask you a couple more things, please.
I think one that would make sense, given they just had me focus on the Atlas freedom phrase, is that he invented it. So I need to figure out face the village hall. Pretty sure it's with Ryan. That's what I left myself a note on, but I need to be able to inspect these objects closer. Let me Google really quick. Contradiction. Re-inspect clues. How to zoom into clues. Because maybe you usually don't have to. I guess the rest of them don't really have significant text on them, right? I guess this one does. I'm just gonna brute force here. Came into contact. Only knows what he heard. So I think it's on this flyer. I don't know what the at the village hall part matters on that. Oh, I guess that one counts. Okay, well, thank you, brute force.
According to the flyer, this Third Eye group was based at the village hall, is that right?
Was it?
That's where you were based, wasn't it?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You said
I guess that makes
you invented
sense.
the Atlas phrase "free to be free" while you were based at the village hall.
Because that was a really specific location
So I
clue.
did.
So you must have come into contact with Third Eye at some point. You were using the same hall.
Well, I'm afraid I haven't been entirely honest with you, Inspector.
Go on.
You see, Third Eye is, or was, Atlas under a different name. Sorry.
No, what'd you lie?
Atlas is Third Eye.
In a new improved form, yes.
And you ran Third Eye.
With Dad, yes.
So you must have known Liam. You didn't just meet him, did you?
Yes, I knew him, Inspector, but don't get your hopes up. All of this has been thoroughly investigated and cleared up.
You've been investigated about his death?
They dropped the case. We didn't have anything to do with it. Well, when I say drop the case, I mean a police investigation is one thing, but what the public thinks is another. They threatened to go public, and then James bloody Wilson started distributing his flyers, and that was it. No choice. There's an end to it.
You had to change the name.
We'd already paid the family an out-of-court settlement. I thought that was an end to it. But then James and his cronies, they wouldn't leave it alone. So we had to close down.
James really the kind of guy
Buy a
that
new
has
place,
cronies?
Rebrand. So eventually, we reopened here.
As Atlas.
As Atlas.
And it worked.
Up till now, yes.
So you knew James Wilson too?
We knew James, but he didn't know us as such. Oh, he was very quick to shoot us down, but he didn't do anything like actually coming to the course to see what he was about.
So James wouldn't know that you were now running Atlas?
Not unless he came to one of our courses.
And how much of all that stuff was true? ECT machines, brainwashing?
I'm afraid that exists only exclusively in the mind of Mr. Wilson. All we do is make better business people.
Yeah, they're both
we
great.
challenge their prejudices and presumptions. Why don't you come along and see for yourself? The course starts in 15 minutes. Excuse me, Inspector. Hello. I can't come back now. Well, you have my car at the moment. All right. All right. See you later. That was Dad. I have to go back.
7 p.m., I
You can
think.
come and meet him if you like.
Well, I might come and have a chat.
Come with me.
8 p.m.
To be perfectly honest, Dad's a great businessman, but he lacks imagination. He does, however, believe in the power of the individual.
It's late
when
evening
taught
for
by the right
me.
teacher, of course. Ryan! In here. Just coming. He's through here.
To whom do I owe the pleasure?
Detective Inspector Jenks. I'm investigating a death in the village. I believe you knew Kate Vine.
Oh, I thought all this was dealt with, Inspector. You do know that Kate Vine was a gherkin short of a Big Mac. You do now.
Father.
You must forgive my son, Inspector.
You're a full gherkin on a Big
He
Mac?
still can't summon up the courage to come straight to the point. So what do you want to know?
Well, a few more questions if you don't mind.
Oh, but I do mind. I'm a very busy man. Try asking an intelligent question, like, do I mind being quizzed about a once promising student who turned into a useless drunk? Ryan, would you mind leaving us for a while?
I'll go back to the centre. I have one or two things to prepare. Call me if you need me, Dad.
This guy's a piece of work.
You may begin, Mr. Holmes,
I'm not an
although
asshole.
I'm not going
I'm
to be
just
able to
honest.
help you. I don't have much to do with the course nowadays, so I can't give you any hard information.
That's as maybe, but we
No,
need...
that's as is. But if you want my opinion, I'd be quite happy to give it to you. So, fire away.
Okay, thank you. Wow, Paul certainly doesn't take any prisoners. It's obvious who's pulling the strings in this family, and I wonder what they got up to in their previous guise as Third Eye.
Hop down.
8 o'clock already. How well did you know Kate?
Hardly knew her at all. Met her a few times. At the course, that's about all.
So when was the last time you saw her?
Last Friday. I just popped out of the course and about 7.
Did you speak to her then?
It's possible.
And how did she seem? Was she happy, sad, preoccupied?
She was drunk.
Spoke to her drunk Friday, 7 p.m. Yeah, so far the usual Phoenix Wright rules haven't held too much in this. Namely, like watching for names, dates, specific times, specific locations. Well, I guess the last one was a location puzzle. I just brute forced it.
Do you know if Kate had lost this? It's her driving license.
How would I know that?
You didn't see it lying around anywhere?
No.
No, it's quick. It isn't worth asking about the key.
Did you know anything about Simon Thompson's bike?
No.
No.
Have you seen this before?
Looks familiar. Where
I
did
guess
you find
Cadence representing
It
evidence.
was in the woods.
Presumably had something to do with Kate or her killer.
Well, that's what I'm trying to establish.
Shouldn't it be in an evidence bag, Inspector, in case of contamination?
I didn't have one with me, unfortunately.
Well, don't go testing it for DNA, will you? It's got yours all over it.
Tell me how to do my job. I mean, he's got a point.
Ever tried Simon's homebrew? Simon Thompson?
Just
No, I
play this
wouldn't touch
character
anything
forever.
that has had Simon's fingers in it.
The Inspector Jenks super series of video games.
What do you know about this?
It's a freedom necklace. It's a symbol we use sometimes on the course. Little bird in cage flying away. Freeing themselves from their past is the analogy.
So do they get them when they join the course or something?
No, not as a rule. I think I bought one once as a present.
Oh, not for Kate, by any chance?
No, not for Kate. I can't really remember who it was for. A birthday present, maybe for one of the students.
Which student?
I've no idea.
Says he didn't buy it for Kate.
What do you know about this?
Looks like a mask.
You don't recognize it?
Not particularly. Looks like a monarch mask.
What's a monarch mask?
Monarch is fancy dress outfitters. Ryan goes there sometimes.
Ryan uses the shop.
Have you ever seen one of these before?
I believe it's a scrying mirror, pagan thing.
Ever used one?
Why would I use a scrying mirror?
James spray paints
So you
mirrors
have
black.
no interest at all in this sort of thing?
No,
Does the Atlas course use them at all?
not at all. Strange question.
Doesn't use scrying in the course.
Could you tell me a bit about this?
Had it designed by an agency
And when was that?
last year.
Is that when you started the business?
Yes, I suppose so.
Business started last year.
What did you hear about an argument in the pub last Friday?
I didn't go to the pub last Friday.
You didn't hear anything about an argument in the pub?
Should I have?
No, that's fine.
Listen to the pub.
Know what this is, by any chance?
I've no idea. Gardening isn't my kind of thing. Rebecca would probably know. I presume you've met Rebecca.
Yes,
I'm sure she'd enjoy telling you what it is. She's the kind of woman who likes to feel superior.
It's a
Would
weird
probably
thing to focus
marry a
on.
millionaire and then decide to run her own pub.
Yes, why was that?
Well, she isn't exactly housewife material. She likes to be in control, like Ryan. Shame, isn't it, that I'm in control of both of them?
His face falling there. I think Rebecca's already told us about them. Salvia.
Have you ever heard of Salvia divinorum, or magic mint?
Sounds like it might be a drug.
It's a hallucinogenic plant. Legal, as a matter of fact.
I'm not a drug taker, Inspector. I have no enthusiasm for voluntarily poisoning your brain.
Fair.
And you've never seen anyone on the course taking it?
Well, if someone had, they wouldn't have done it openly. We don't allow drugs or alcohol on our course. We like to tell students that success is the best drug. Whether you buy into that, of course, is another matter.
No interest in drugs. Drugs aren't allowed on site.
If I did this, would it mean anything to you?
I presume you've seen an Atlas student doing that.
Ah, so this is an Atlas thing.
Well, it wasn't exactly our idea.
Or a
The students started doing it spontaneously.
metal band
to show
thing.
commitment to the cause. Cute, really. Which student did you see doing that?
I'm not sure, but he was carving it into a tree. I told him to stop.
Did you really? Why?
Defacing public property.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. What's the punishment for that kind of thing nowadays? Prison sentence?
It's usually a fine.
All right. What about defiling public liberty? Does that carry a fine too?
Oddly enough, the student in question argued a similar point. Is that something you encourage on the Atlas course?
We encourage people who put ideas first and moral anachronisms second. The problem with the law, Inspector, is that it's out of date.
Well, I suppose that's a matter of opinion. However, you still respect it.
Respect it. I abide by it. We all play by the book, Inspector, but that's only because of the threat of possible incarceration.
Is it? Ideas over morality. Reluctantly abides by the law.
How well did you know
Nothing's standing
Liam?
out to me yet.
Liam who?
Liam, who took his life.
Oh. Well, as far as I remember, he was a good student, confident, outgoing.
You didn't notice any problems?
I believe he had problems at home.
Were you there when he died?
Yes.
And afterwards? You didn't see him after the meeting?
No.
What was Liam like that night?
No. Apart from being drunk, or possibly because of that, he seemed perfectly happy.
He was drunk.
Well, I assume the bottle in his hand contained whiskey and not lemonade.
Hey, he's not supposed to be drinking,
Lots
dude.
of similarities to Kate, don't you think? Drinking, depression, is that normal for the students?
People come into the Atlas course for quick solutions to their problems.
Well, the course is named
And
Atlas,
when
so
they don't get them,
not
as
caring
quickly
for
as they
morals or
might have
ethics
liked,
sounds about right.
sometimes their impatience gets the better of them.
Yeah, I think we just caught him. Liam had been drinking, which is impossible because they don't allow drugs or alcohol on the site. Suck it. Nice.
So if you don't allow drink or drugs
Nice,
onto
easy
the
one.
site, why did you allow Liam to drink whiskey all night?
Well, we did give him various warnings. Did try to stop him, but didn't work.
But you let him stay on the course?
Yeah, well, we couldn't throw him out. This isn't a primary school, Inspector. We're not the police. We can't enforce these rules. If they pay their fees, they're entitled to stay on the course.
And what if they want to take drugs?
As long as they do it with discretion, frankly, I don't care if they want to wipe or inject paint stripper all over their faces.
Do you store any alcohol at Atlas?
No.
Is there a kitchen?
Why, do you want to go down there and check?
Well, obviously you wouldn't mind if
Check.
what you're saying is true.
Of course I wouldn't mind. It's past the lavatories down the corridor, but you won't find any drugs in there or alcohol.
Whether I find alcohol at Atlas or not, it probably isn't particularly relevant. But it's worth a look anyway.
New zone.
What do you know
about this.
So you've been graced with Goebbels' company already, have you? James, our local minister for propaganda. I suppose Ryan already told you about our actual previous incarnation.
He explained, yes.
Did he?
This guy's doing
tell
a
you
lot with the
anything
lines he's being fed.
Not unless you count the suicide.
Oh. These things happen.
Was it your idea?
The suicide?
Third eye.
Yeah, I suppose it was. As my son had started to atrophy, I decided I ought to give him something to do.
And third eye was the same as Atlas, teaching business skills.
Very similar.
So Liam's death didn't prompt you to make any changes?
There was nothing we could do about Liam's death, Inspector, any more than we could do anything about Kate's. It was out of our control.
You can't blame me for wondering, Paul. 2 student deaths in 2 years.
It's called a coincidence, Inspector. I expect they ate fast food also. But you're not investigating all the local chippies, are you?
Maybe I should. Freedom phrase.
Can you tell me a little about the Atlas phrase, free to be free?
Where did you hear that?
I was talking to one of your students.
It's a little phrase we conjured up to summarize our objectives.
What is your objective, if you don't mind me asking?
Mine, or do you mean the course's objective?
On the course.
The objective of the course is to free people from bondage. We teach that most people are crippled by their past, by guilt, their attitudes, their beliefs. All that kind of nonsense.
Guilt cripples people.
Feeling guilty in business is like a meat eater feeling guilty in an abattoir. Guilt comes from the archaic emotional centers of the brain. It's a vestige of our animal ancestry, that's all. In business, you heed it at your peril.
Spooky.
I'm sorry, Inspector. My house appears to be haunted. Would you mind closing the door?
Neighbors.
So, you believe that guilt has no place in business?
None at all. I have few beliefs, Inspector, but that's one of them.
And what if you have done something wrong?
Well, that's the whole point. Guilt has nothing to do with it.
Interesting opinion.
Okay. Nothing else jumped out at me, so I'm going to pop
Thank
out
you.
and see what
Probably
the
be
light
back
bulb
later.
says.
I get the feeling I might be seeing a lot of Paul tonight.
More Paul. Is there alcohol stored in the Atlas kitchen? Okay. Down the corridor.
kitchen must be down the corridor there, if what Paul said is true.
Pretty dull. Straws.
Interesting. Well,
Stands
there's
out
a
just a
TV
little
right
bit.
there with a DVD player. I don't think anyone will mind if I have a quick look at this.
Does say triple X. Side loader. She keeps in the kitchen.
Freedom, true freedom, means freedom from many vices that society had traditionally believed to be virtues. Self-criticism, self-doubt, guilt. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not virtues. These are sins. born of a fake morality implanted deep within our minds and collective consciousness by governments and religions through the ages, with the sole purpose of preventing the masses, stopping us from achieving the same success, happiness, and freedom enjoyed by those at the very pinnacle of society.
Yikes.
I'm going to show you that common morality is nothing more than the cynical creation of an elite desperate to stay in power. An elite hell-bent on preventing you from reaching your full potential by making you feel guilty for pursuing success. But the good news is that you can take back control. You can become the success you deserve to be. Atlas will give you a unique and powerful advantage. Life in all its technicolor glory can be yours.
Not a cult.
All that you have to do is to stay, embrace it, enjoy it, and learn to love your ambition. Welcome to Atlas.
Yeah, Satanic Temple are pretty moral folks. 7 principles are solid. There we go. Cool. It's not what I was expecting. Helpful, okay.
Well, that was odd. Looked like someone pickpocketing, but why make a video of
Yeah,
it?
absolutely why make a video of it. Okay. Strange. What else is going on in Atlas at the moment? I talk to Ryan again. Apparently not.
Let yourself go.
Oh, good.
Feel your soul lifting.
This is normal.
Then wait for the moment to break free. Then break free.
I got a cup of coffee.
Excellent, Hannah.
Well,
Could you come back later, please?
what's going on here?
Please, leave.
Sorry, Ryan, there's a few more questions I have to ask you yet, and time's ticking by.
Leave.
Okay.
They're just trying to learn how to maximize clicks on internet ads. It's pretty normal stuff.
What on earth was that about? Looked like they were burning woolen dolls. A
Doll
woolen
burning
doll
ceremony.
burning ceremony. What a very odd course this is.
Like effigies. Still says there's stuff to do at Atlas. Assume that there's just the one DVD that matters. Yeah. Interesting. Remote control lock. Huh. I would teleport, but some stuff is triggered before. And so far, it looks like Eden Lodge.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind.
Is it worth asking about the lock? How about the doll burning ceremony?
Doll burning?
Doll burning, I think, was something that they did on the course. Simon mentioned it.
Oh, they didn't do that when you were there?
No.
Have you seen this before?
No? Don't think so.
That's all that I've got new from her.
Thank you. Probably be back later. Ask about a few more things, please.
Have you seen this before?
No. No, sorry.
This guy looks uncannily like a real-life friend of mine. I keep wanting to call him by my friend's name.
What do you know about doll burning?
Not on the course. It's a ritual thing. It's getting rid of things that you don't need. Throw it into the fire.
And that's a good thing?
Well, yeah, it helps you getting rid of things you don't need, so you can move on and take control again.
So what are the masks for?
They're just to help you get into the right frame of mind. Just get you into the zone, you know, help with the trance.
A trance?
Yeah. It's like self-hypnosis. We do it on the course sometimes. It's just to help you get into the right frame of mind, you know.
So you hypnotize yourself? How do you do that?
Just stare into a mirror and chant something, you know, just say the same thing over and over again.
Like a scrying mirror?
Or you could just close your eyes and put yourself into a trance. Some people can do that.
And that's safe?
Well, yeah. Hypnosis doesn't work the way that most people think it does. You can't just be hypnotized if you don't want to be hypnotized. But you can learn to hypnotize yourself.
What did you say it was called? Auto-hypnosis?
Self-hypnosis, auto-hypnosis,
It's what,
same thing, really.
Revolver Ocelot did.
I think Simon was a bit too quick to play down the role of auto-hypnosis on the course. I'll have to ask around about this.
Auto-hypnosis. Reduced by using mirrors. Did you say anything about the black scrying mirror? Didn't say you'd never seen it before.
That's all for the moment, thank you.
I've only heard that about hypnotism before, that it's based on suggestibility, and most of the time when there's like popular hypnotists, they're really depending on you caving to the social pressure to like not be a jerk and ignore what they're telling you to do. They'll like take steps to make sure that you're suggestible in that way. They'll usually bring like 20 people on stage and start selecting the people that are most likely to perform.
Couple more questions, if that's okay?
Do you know anything about this?
No, sorry. Ask Ryan.
Doll burning.
What do you know about doll burning at Atlas?
Only that it's part of the course. I'm not entirely sure what they're for, but I made dozens for him.
You made them?
Oh, Ryan can't make anything. He's practically dyspraxic.
Made the dolls for Ryan.
Do you know anything about hypnosis?
Oh, I should ask
used
Emma
on the
about that
Atlas
too.
course?
Are you sure you mean hypnosis or the power of persuasion?
What's the difference?
Not a lot. But if you want someone to do something, it's usually easier to ask nicely.
Atlas used persuasion techniques.
Well, don't all businesses use it, Inspector? Ever heard of advertising?
Atlas uses persuasion techniques. That's good.
Be back later on, if that's okay.
Nothing in the restaurant part at the moment. Perhaps there will be later. Paul and Ryan need to be asked about the DVD. Emma, James, Ryan, and Paul. Okay. The Emma one is the auto-hypnosis one, but I guess I'll finish doing a cycle here. Random.
Two more questions, please. Seen this before?
The writing looks familiar, but no.
Writing looks familiar, you say.
What can you tell me about doll burning at Atlas?
Not very much. It's one of Ryan's ideas. My son is under the illusion that he's a genius.
That was brief, okay.
Can you tell me more about the auto-hypnosis techniques used on the course?
We don't use hypnosis on the course.
Not at all?
Not anymore.
So,
Not
how
anymore.
was it used?
Hypnosis is probably the wrong word, Inspector. It's nothing to do with the trances or things like that. It was meant to force... to help students.
Did you force them?
You can't force anybody into being hypnotized. You have to want to be hypnotized. It's not something out of your control. You can't be hurt or damaged in any way by hypnosis.
So you've never put pressure on students to enter into hypnosis?
It would be impossible to do so.
My understanding is that the biggest part of it is probably just when you're up on the stage and the hypnotist tells you to, like, act like you're a chicken.
Thank you.
The feeling that you would be a buzzkill if you didn't is overwhelmingly powerful in a lot of cases. Although you usually, if you're, like, suggestible, if you believe in hypnosis, you're not going to internalize it that way. Don't know if I have anything new for calling the chief. No, I don't think so. It explicitly tells you when you're supposed to talk to the chief.
I'll ask you a couple more things, please. Seen this before?
No, what is it?
Do you recognize it?
No. Should I?
Well, what are the trouble of burning that cell phone video onto a DVD?
What do you know about doll burning?
Doll burning? What sort of doll burning?
It doesn't mean anything to you.
There are different
Should
types?
it?
No, that's okay. Ever heard of auto-hypnosis, James? Self-hypnosis.
Yeah?
And what do you know about it?
It's weird.
Another name for scrying. Some people call it auto-hypnosis, I call it scrying.
Right. So you're saying scrying is just self-hypnosis?
Scrying? You can scry on anything. I don't use a mirror. I can scry watching the clouds. Maybe the water on a lake in the moonlight.
And when you're watching the water, what happens? You go into a trance?
You lose yourself in your unconscious. You go deeper and deeper. You swim around. Try not to go too deep. 'Cause
Right.
if you go too deep, you start
Yeah,
drowning.
it's true at a live hypnotist show.
You get
I mean,
dragged down to the bottom.
they'll bring like 20 people
long
on
as you stay
stage and then
swimming,
select the people that are the most
come to the
enthusiastic
surface.
and likely to behave.
Then you wake up and see the world as it really is. It's like a journey to a place people talk about, but no one's ever seen.
James is perpetually stoned.
You're thinking about Kate, aren't you?
What makes you say that?
She bought a mirror. Sold her one last year.
Was she into using mirrors like that?
No idea. But she bought one.
Right.
Another name for scrying. Possible without a mirror. Sold a mirror to Kate Vine. I think that's... Let's see. Sells mirrors, doesn't make a profit. I guess he could have sold it long before he last saw her, but just... I think that's the only thing Kate relevant that I can think of. Because it was last year. Okay. Long enough ago. If it had been, like, sold a mirror to her a couple weeks ago, then you'd be like,
That's it for the time being, thank you.
already did Paul. Emma and Ryan, okay. Done all my manual walking.
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
Auto-hypnosis, probably.
Do you know what auto-hypnosis is?
It's some type of self-hypnosis, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you ever tried it?
No, I haven't. But I think Kate was into it. She learned it from when she went to Atlas.
And what did she tell you about it?
Not a lot, really. I think it helped her. I think she used it as a sort of self-meditation.
Self-meditation. As
Thank
opposed
you.
to
Probably be back later.
non-self-meditation? Targeted meditation? AoE meditation? There are 3 things you haven't asked Ryan about yet. Am I even just allowed to go talk to Ryan freely? Let me go try. Whoa, shit! The fuck? Touch my hat?
The DVD! That's all they took. It must have been deliberate. Someone clearly wanted that back. Nice and helpful of them to leave a piece of evidence behind, though.
That's interesting. Okay. Presumably someone that I showed it to? Monarch costumes. Okay. Paul mentioned he thought the mask was from there. Think about talking to Ryan then. Huh. Should still be done in here. Fob looks like it opens up some sort of lockup. Simon, Emma, James, Rebecca, Ryan, and Paul. Try looking for locked things. Maybe that car. Oops. Keep checking these just in case. You gotta get your cool shoes at every opportunity. Jenks. Never seen this bag before.
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
Do you know the shop? Have you used it?
No, but I know where it is.
Knows where the shop is.
That's all for the
Simon.
moment. Thank you.
Seen this? You know the shop?
Yeah, I know the shop. I hired something from them last year, I think.
This is for a party, I assume.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Creepy.
Be back later on, if that's okay. A couple more questions, if that's okay.
What do you think about this bag?
Have you seen this before, anywhere?
Well, I know the shop, costume shop just outside the village.
Ever used it?
Not personally, but I think Ryan might have.
It's all consistent with what I already know.
Thank you.
Oops, I meant to go behind the house here. See if that car can be opened with the fob. Oh, well, that works too. Not what I was expecting. Sneaky sneaking around.
So, those are Ryan's guitars, kept in a garage. Not really the best place to keep them.
The humidity's bad for it, I think. New evidence. Cool.
A few more questions, please. Thank you.
Have you seen this before?
No, I don't think so.
You don't recognize the shop?
No.
What? You're the one who told me about it with the mask.
Who works at Atlas? Someone who may have been
Alright,
there
we get some
today?
easy ones this time.
There's a cleaner. Comes at strange times, but then he's a strange boy. Work experience.
As a cleaner?
Well, we did try him in accounts, but it didn't work out.
Doesn't know where the bag is from. And it was the mask, right? You son of a bitch. Alright, nice.
Do you visit Monarch Costumes a lot?
No. I used to go in there occasionally. Why?
But you do know the shop.
Yes, of course I do.
You see, Paul, I thought you said you didn't know where this bag was from.
Oh.
Maybe I do.
This was used to put over my head, Paul, by a mugger. Would you like to tell me something?
Are you suggesting that I had something to do with your mugging?
Did you?
You really ask the most ridiculous questions. Of course I didn't.
So why did you lie about the shop?
Well, I didn't have anything to do with your mugging, Inspector, but I might know of somebody who did.
Go on.
Did Ryan mention Jason to you as a cleaner?
Jason?
Unfortunately, Ryan at some point told Jason that the DVD mustn't be removed from the site. So, when he saw you take it, he simply thought that he was doing us a favor by, getting it back. He isn't exactly what you'd call one of Darwin's best examples.
Jeez.
So what's on the DVD that's so special?
All right, it was something I did myself, a little stunt I pulled to amuse the students.
What kind of stunt?
I pretended to steal from the students. I emphasize the word pretended. The students knew all about it afterwards. Everything was above board.
Steal from students? Why?
We were doing a piece about pushing the limit, so I decided I would show them how it was done. Oh, don't look so serious, Inspector. I returned everybody's things immediately afterwards. No harm done.
Is the point that an old man can steal your shit, or that you shouldn't leave your jackets unguarded?
Third Eye or Atlas?
Third Eye, I think.
And this was before or after Liam died?
Well, since you'll probably find out anyway, it happened to be on the night that Liam died, as it happens. Before you ask, no, I didn't steal from him.
Do you think it's a good idea to encourage students to steal, Paul?
I wasn't encouraging students to steal. Policemen are so literal. Life is shades of grey, Inspector.
Yeah, right.
Much as the Force might like it, it doesn't divide neatly into blacks and whites. Now, if you don't mind...
Would you say blacks and whites instead of black and white?
You know where the door is.
Yikes. Paul's a piece of work.
I see he was quick enough to claim he didn't steal from Liam. What kind of stunt was that, anyway?
All's
Liam dying
theft
later the
stunt.
same night. It's just all a bit too suspicious.
Ask you a couple more things, please.
Wouldn't know about Paul or his stunt. Wouldn't know about Ryan's musical ability. Baggies and
Seen
muggy.
this anywhere before?
Nope.
Oh, that's helpful.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Things you haven't asked Simon, Emma, Rebecca, Ryan, and Paul. There's stuff I haven't talked to Paul about? I honestly don't know. I even talked to Ryan? Maybe he's in the house now. Hold on. I'm not allowed to go back to Paul. Okay. Maybe that's just a bug then.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind.
God, you keep pulling me in this back room.
Does Ryan play the guitar?
He tries. He does keep wasting money on them, though. I think he believes if he buys the right one, he'll suddenly turn into Jimi Hendrix.
That's how that works.
Sad, really. If I just let him play in his room, as long as he plays in there, I don't mind.
In his room.
Did you know about Paul's money stealing at Atlas?
Are you talking about a particular incident or just in general?
In general.
Something he did on the course. Stunt.
And what did he do exactly?
Oh, well, he pretended to steal from the students.
That doesn't ring a bell. Paul's stunts usually involve throwing fancy dress parties with scantily clad girls or women dressed as nurses. That's his usual fetish.
When was the last party he threw?
Sometime in the summer. I didn't stay long.
Throws fancy dress parties. Last party he threw sometime in the summer.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Simon, Evan, Ryan, and Paul. But presumably can't talk to Paul anymore.
Ask about a few more things, please.
What do you know about Ryan's guitar collection?
I know he plays, because he tried to buy one off me.
Do you play?
Hey!
I used to. I used to be in a band, but I was a singer as well, so I got away with it.
Singer as well.
Second.
Yeah, I used to sing in a band every night. But sometimes it was in a pub, but usually at Rebecca's.
What was that called?
It was called Blackstone. And this guy from a record company once came to see us, and he said the band was rubbish, but that I was good. So after that, I don't think they liked me much, and then we broke up after college.
Can't hide talent.
Second, I gotta stop. Alright, I'm back. Ryan offered to buy him his guitar. He used to sing in a pub band called Blackstone. Band played at the pub. So offered a singing contract.
What do you know about Paul Rand?
Paul the Slime.
You've obviously met him then.
Yes, I have.
What do you know about him committing a fake theft during one of the courses?
What, about him going through people's bags? Yeah, you tried that thing on me as well, weirdo.
So you were at Third Eye?
Yes. Yes, I went there for a few months after college and I left because I hated it. And I didn't know Atlas was the same thing. And I went with
Hey,
Simon.
thanks, Kiki. Appreciate that.
Simon.
No. I didn't want to burst his bubble, so I didn't say anything.
So he doesn't know you went to Third Eye?
No.
Ah! So is that where you met Ryan as well?
Yep.
Right. What didn't you like about the course?
Well, it was stupid. They just made you do things to other people and be abusive just to prove that you could, and I absolutely hated it.
What sort of things?
Oh, just stupid things. Nasty things to prove that you could do it. It was about not feeling guilty. And it was horrible. That's why I left.
And is Simon doing all of this stuff now?
No, I think they had to stop because it was just getting ridiculous. I think somebody got arrested or something.
Very interesting.
Well, that's a lot of stuff. Simon doesn't know Emma went there. Third Eye was abusive. Stopped its abusive tactics.
That's all for the moment, thank you.
What do you know about Ryan's guitar collection?
Not a whole lot. I know he brought a guitar to one of the groups once, at the end of one of the stages. That's the only time I've seen him with a guitar.
Fair.
What do you know about Paul stealing money from students? Part of a stunt or something?
What, did he do that? I've never heard about anything like that. No, it might be part of the risk-taking thing, though.
Explain that.
Well, it's part of the course. You have to do something dangerous or risky, something you wouldn't normally do.
Something
Like
dangerous?
steal someone?
Well, not dangerous,
Steal from someone?
just risky. Like saying something you wouldn't normally say to someone, or doing something unusual.
Like stealing from other students?
Well, we didn't do anything like that, but you have to tell everyone at the end of the course anyway. And you're not allowed to do anything that would hurt or offend anyone, or you're not allowed to do anything really bad. It's all pretend, really.
It seems a bit odd for a business course.
It works, though.
Does it? All you have to do to be successful in business is rob other people, because business people don't
Be back later
experience
on, if that's
consequences.
okay.
Paul the Chief. Ryan and Paul. Okay.
Jenks, what do you know?
Not much really, sir, except I've discovered Ryan plays the guitar.
Helpful.
Going to tell me something useful.
Well, I found out Emma was in the band too.
What with Rand?
No, don't think so. Not sure, actually.
Well, why don't you find out and ring me back when you've got something useful to tell me, yeah?
Yes, Chief. Sorry, Chief.
Bye-bye.
Talk more to Emma, it sounds like. They're still talking about Ryan and Paul, but I can't talk to them. Ryan and Paul Rand, who formed a group called Atlas about ignoring conventional morality. Looking out for yourself. Okay, well, I don't think I can talk to them, but the chief seemed to be suggesting that I talk to Emma. The weird that he even mentioned, like, who'd she play in the band with? Like, I don't know. Why would I ask that?
Couple more questions, if that's okay.
So on the nose is engulfing it. Singing in a pub band called Blackstone. Played at the pub. Was offered a singing contract. Alright, let's just start from the top then. She like playing a band with Kate? No. Necklace is Emma's. Is there anything in here that's band related? Thinks James is creepy. There's Rebecca Well. Had an affair with Ryan. Shouldn't have anything to do with music, I don't think, although maybe yeah, Ryan offered to buy a guitar. That's not a drugs. Never taken drugs. Didn't know Liam. Doesn't believe anything James says. Nothing in here is about music, as far as I can tell. Unless if it's the argument about Ryan, but... yeah, none of that seems to track.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
So the light bulb says you haven't asked Ryan and Paul things, but I can't access either of their houses. I'm open to ideas if anyone has any. Abbey Farm is James, which isn't, I'm not getting prompted on. Go behind Brandon House. I can get behind the house, but I can't go back to talk to Paul again. When I try to go to Atlas, I guess I could just try to walk everywhere. Maybe I'll just bump into him somewhere. Maybe it's a bug that it says I can talk to Paul and Ryan. Paul Ryan. Famed Rage Against the Machine fan. Maybe someone's in the kitchen now? It's the other place I haven't been, I think. Weird. I think it's a glitch. That's the only light bulb hint. Let me try reviewing the notes, I guess. Saw Kate. No one knows anything about the license, I think. I have to press X to scroll these, okay. Simon does ride a bike. See it anywhere. Makes his own homebrew. Bottles belong to Simon. Freedom necklace. Or this makes sense for music. Just trying to like search for stuff that might have something to do with music. An argument. Kate broke the window. Triple goddess. Scrying mirrors. James is creepy. done by an agency. There's a contradiction or two that I have access to without needing Ryan or Paul. Okay, thanks. I'm just looking through these to see if anything says anything to do with music, since that's where the chief pointed me. Maybe it's the three finger symbol, since that's the metal symbol. That seems like that's something I'd have to know externally, right? Oh, Liam was in Blackstone. Okay, so that's interesting. This must be one of the first ones that is dependent on information. Okay, I think I know what to do. Usually when there's crosstalk in between suspects, I was under the impression that it would generally generate a new piece of evidence for you. I'm trying to remember if there was a clue earlier that worked that way, but let's see. So it should be Liam plus, yeah, didn't know Liam, and used to be in Blackstone. Nice, got it.
That band you sang in, Blackstone. Who else was in the band?
Just a few people from college.
Including Liam?
Yeah.
Why did you say you didn't know him?
No, it's not that. I just thought you meant that I didn't know about his suicide.
Did you?
No, I was away on holiday.
When he died?
Yeah, I only knew him through the band.
She definitely knows more than she's saying. She was in a band with Liam, but didn't know about his problem? I'm not sure I believe you, Emma.
Well, that seems like we should stay here. I can back out and see if there's a new hint really quick. Call the chief for an update. Okay. But probably finishing with Emma here, I would assume.
Got something useful to tell me, Jenks?
Chief, I found out that Emma was in a band with Liam, the student who died last year.
What does she know about Liam?
Not much. She wasn't there when he died.
Well, make sure she wasn't. Find out who was there that night. Work out what night it was. Make sure Paul Rand wasn't involved. We have a phone's ringing. Call me back, Jenks.
Righto, Chief.
Working on it, Dirter.
Ask you a couple more things, please.
Okay, so presumably I can do something with this last one. Or rather the Liam one, right? Okay. Was on holiday the night Liam died. Because I can't do only knew Liam through the band Blackstone, so it's got to be something that contradicts was on holiday the night Liam died. So let's see. Attendant Atlas. It might be, well, see, this is another one where Paul said something about Liam died the night that he stole the money from the students. Maybe we're expanding the way the game works now, and you have to use a third piece of information from the log. Let me see if it gives me that here in the journal. It was a weird thing for him to mention. Here's why it stuck with me. Wait, I don't even have Paul's replies listed here, do I? Is it maybe Liam's death? Was it Atlas the night Liam died? Yeah, I feel like I should have a thing from Paul's theft stunt here. Did he maybe make the comment about the DVD instead? I think the DVD is not included in my list anymore since it got stolen, right? I guess I can just try it. Brute force, I have no idea.
Questions, if you don't mind.
That seems like that's like an extra layer. Paul pulled the stunt. He was supposed to be there. Okay, I guess that's it. Fair enough, I'll take it.
So, you witnessed Paul's money-stealing stunt, is that right?
Yes.
Only because the chief told me to stay
when
here.
Liam died.
No.
Don't quite understand that, you see, because Paul pulled the stunt on the same night. Liam died later that evening.
I must have got mixed up.
So you don't know anything about Liam's death, even though you were there on that night?
No.
Emma. I think you better explain, don't you?
It was the stupid course, wasn't it?
Go on.
Well, we were all told to do stupid things, and then that thieving thing happened, and so...
Take a breath, Emma.
Liam killed himself because of me.
What? Nani?
Liam had a birthmark on the side of his face. And no one would mention anything, even though we all knew it was there. And they all thought it was ugly. So I thought I'd say something, and I even asked Paul if it was okay to say it.
What did he say?
He said he wouldn't mind. Then Liam killed himself. Liam's dead because of me.
Well, Emma...
Damn.
I'm quite sure you regret what you said, but I really don't think you caused Liam's death. There's always more to these things than meets the eye. It wasn't your fault.
We can't tell Simon, please.
Simon doesn't need to know. Don't worry.
Thank you.
9 p.m.
Poor Emma. I suppose it's possible that what she said led to Liam's death, but I really doubt it. I blame the Rands before I blame her.
Emma's guilt. Emma criticized Liam over a birthmark. Attributed to his suicide. Maybe. Wow, the 9 p.m. music is very emotional.
Questions, if you don't mind.
Becca wouldn't know anything about this. Nothing new for her, then.
Thank you.
Still no one in the restaurant. Oh, maybe there will be someone there eventually. See if I can adjust the BGM separate from the... It may have just been for that sequence that it was super loud. Hey, you can talk to them again.
Couple more questions, if that's okay.
Ryan's guitar collection.
Does Ryan play the guitar?
Ryan? Ryan couldn't get a tune out of a radio. He's tone deaf.
Okay, so he's never tried to go professional.
If he did try, it was never going to happen.
Do you think Emma's criticism of Liam on that last night led to his suicide?
I doubt it helped.
Oof.
Do you encourage Emma to
Yikes.
criticize him?
I didn't encourage Emma to do anything. I merely told her what we tell every student to do, to express themselves as they want to. It would be out of order to criticize them after that, wouldn't it? However, I didn't expect her to criticize his birthmark, if that's what it was.
You couldn't get a tune out of the radio.
That's a decision she took herself.
So you didn't know her well?
No, not at all.
Hardly knew Emma. People say they don't know each other. That seems to come up a lot in this game. But I don't think I have anything to do with it. I'm gonna assume that's going to be interesting later. I honestly can't tell if this is like a day for night thing or if they actually recorded all of these an hour apart.
A few more questions, please. Thank you.
James wouldn't know about Emma and Liam. Okay.
Be back later on, if that's okay.
Call the chief for an update. There's 6 things you haven't asked Ryan about yet. What happens after an Atlas meeting? I have a feeling the chief pop-up appears once a contradiction becomes available. So maybe I can metagame that a little bit. I got multiple chief calls last hour.
Yes, Chief. Bit more news. It turns out Emma was with Liam on the night he died, and she thinks she caused him to commit suicide. She made fun of him, mocked him as part of the course.
Nice of her. Why did she do that?
Requirement of the course, apparently. To say something offensive. It's meant to encourage free thinking.
Interesting opinion. And
You said you're not allowed to offend anyone, that Simon said.
Par for the course or something like that, did he?
Well, Paul wasn't too bothered. He claims he didn't know Emma, so couldn't have predicted what she was going to do.
That doesn't wash. What does Emma say about him?
She does not like him. Really doesn't like him.
So she must have known him well enough. How well did he know her?
He claims not very well.
Well, make sure he's telling the truth.
Okay.
I've got a cup of coffee to make.
Coffee? Yeah, okay. Thanks, Chief.
Bye.
So I called that. People say they don't know somebody. It's usually more important in this game than your typical
Ask you a couple
like
more things, please.
date and time Phoenix Wright stuff. So if we assume hardly knew Emma is 1. Say stuff that almost certainly has nothing to do with it. Theft stunt, guitar collection, mugging bag. Probably. Auto-hypnosis. Medium phrase. Organized the leaves, wasn't in the pub. Here's used for scrying. On our costumes. Bought a necklace for a student, didn't buy it for Kate. Simon's homebrew. Necklace is familiar. Okay.
Okay, that's it for now.
I guess
Thank you.
operating on the assumption that maybe the chief call becomes available once a contradiction is available, but maybe it's you only have one part of the contradiction. Or I missed it, but I guess let's keep exploring for now. It's a new hour, so there might be stuff down the different paths in the woods, so I'm going to manually walk everywhere. Nothing here still.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind.
figure it would tell me if I had extra questions for her. Yeah, I don't think I do.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Try Simon, though. Jenks promised not to discuss this with Simon. Okay.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Nothing in the woods so far. I can finally do Ryan questions now. Nothing in the kitchen still. Hey.
Ask about a few more things, please.
Progress, potentially.
So tell me more about this doll burning.
It's a symbolic ceremony we perform every few weeks on the course.
What's it about?
It's about burning your old personality and finding a new one, a better one.
So the dolls are...
You. They represent you from the past. Each doll has a picture of the student as a child or a teenager, and they burn the doll and symbolically destroy their old personality. It's quite simple but effective, I find.
And why did that girl shout?
Because it's an emotional thing. She's quite clearly become very attached to her doll. They do spend the first month with them. We tell them to take the doll everywhere with them before they actually go through the doll burning.
And you believe that's a good thing? Destroying your past?
Of course it's a good thing, Inspector. We're all shackled to our past, particularly you by the sound of it. Perhaps we should make a doll of you, Inspector, and burn that. What do you think?
No, thank you.
You're probably right. I'm not sure it would do any good anyway.
What a dick. All right.
Can you tell me about auto-hypnosis?
Well, what would you like to know?
Do you use it on the course?
We dip into it occasionally, but it's not a major feature of the course. I would say that, well, a minority of the students know how to use it, but the majority wouldn't know and have a clue.
It's not a requirement of the course?
No, not at all. We don't ask people to do things that they're not comfortable with. There's no bribery, no coercion.
It's really inconsistent with what everyone else is saying, but...
Auto-hypnosis out, actually.
What's the reason for that?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, Inspector...
Yeah, Paul already said they did.
It doesn't work very well.
Being phased out. Okay, I guess that's different.
Do you know what this is?
Well, I think it's a bag. Is it a bag, Inspector?
Is it a bag?
Oh, yes, the costume shop. Yes, we used to hire from them.
For the course?
Well, yes. For the course, at the end of each stage, we have a little party, and we ask students to dress up.
Like an Eyes Wide Shut party?
Out, being somebody new, their new selves, as it were.
Could you explain a bit more? New selves?
One of the main elements of the course is learning how to act, how to be whoever you need to be in any given situation. I think you'll agree, Inspector, that business is about being the right person in the right situation at the right time. What it does, it helps them to detach themselves, become somebody new, pretend, you know, that kind of thing. It's surprising what a little bit of cross-dressing can do for you, Inspector. You should try it.
Not at this stage.
Not at this stage. But in the next episode of Inspector Jenks.
I didn't realize you were a musician.
Oh, well,
he has to hold that drink, but he can't drink it because the scenes can go in any order.
I dabble a little bit. To be quite honest with you, I'm far more interested in collecting guitars.
You're not in a band?
Well, I did audition. I did audition a few years ago. When I say a few years ago, of course I mean about 20 years ago. Doesn't time fly?
What band was that?
Oh, I can't remember. Something Stone. Aren't they all called something Stone? Hammerstone. That's it.
And you still collect?
Blackstone?
I haven't bought a guitar for over a year. I feel I've moved on.
Hammerstone, you say?
What do you know about your father's money-stealing stunt?
Oh, well, yes, that was something that Dan decided to do as part of the shock aspect of the course.
But he went too far, you believe.
He usually does.
And do you think it did have anything to do with Liam's death?
No. Liam wasn't like that at all. I mean, that was just a simple, unfortunate coincidence. I mean, Liam had his own problems, but he didn't have any problems with the money shock stunt. No.
Liam died because he got robbed.
What do you know about Emma Bowman criticizing Liam before his suicide?
I was there. I witnessed it. Well, I know Emma blamed herself for his death.
Did she?
Well, she was upset and all of that, but I wouldn't blame her, Inspector. I really don't think she had anything to do with it at all.
You don't think?
Liam was a very confident person, very outgoing, very strong individual, or so it seemed. I mean, people are free to do what they like. Even something as irreversible as bumping themselves off. Sad though that is, of course.
Yikes. Right.
That's all for the moment, thank you.
See what the light bulb says. What happens after an Atlas meeting? Nothing, apparently. Okay. Does that mean, like, somewhere else what happens after an Atlas meeting? I don't think I have anyone else to talk to. No prompt to call. I don't think I got, yeah. All those questions for Ryan did not result in any new pieces of evidence. Maybe I can call Paul and his bullshit, but...
Couple more questions, if that's okay?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything new for Rebecca.
Be back later on, if that's okay?
What happens after an Atlas meeting? Oh, shoot. I meant to go down there. Hold on. Nothing else to find here. I'm stuck. I'm open to a hint if anyone has one. The only in-game thing says what happens after an Atlas meeting, but I've talked to everyone. I guess the chief mentioned a contradiction with Paul. So maybe I can try that first. Investigate the first room of the Atlas building. Okay, let me check. This room? Whoa. Were those boxes not there before?
That'll come in handy. Don't know why I never remember to buy one.
Now you're just stealing, dude. Where might that torch be useful? Shit, I'm surprised they didn't put that in the... Because you weren't able to go in this room before, and the hint was like what happens after a meeting. So if there were suddenly some boxes in here for you to inspect, it would make sense. Wonder if that was just an accident. Okay, I guess I could try using the torch in the woods. No. Oh, I really thought it was going to be somewhere out in the woods. Shoot. I go back in that garage, maybe, with the guitars? Just brute force use it on every screen. Maybe the greenhouse? Nothing else to find here. Go further up. Large greenhouse. Dude, I don't know. The only other place is the pub, behind the pub, but like it specifically said there's nothing else there. Oh god, okay. It would be nice if when you search it was like I can't see anything back there, right? Devil worshippers.
Wow. And there's the mask symbol again. Looks like someone's been trying to make a point.
Vandalized car photos. Ask everyone about the devil worship. Yeah, I can hear that.
A few more questions, please.
Have you ever seen these?
It's Ryan's car. It got vandalised last year. His camera had been stolen, so I took pictures. God, whoever did it made a mess, didn't they?
But nobody was prosecuted for it.
Not that I remember. The insurance paid out, though.
Oh, that's good. Insurance paid out. Ryan's camera had been stolen.
Probably be back later.
Yeah, I think that the going around and comparing arguments between people is fun. But having to look for little adventure game clues is tricky, I agree.
Ask you a couple more things, please.
Do you know what these are?
Yes, that's Ryan's car. Another toy he managed to ruin. It was vandalized sometime last year.
You know who did it?
I don't believe anybody was ever prosecuted for it.
That's it for the time being, thank you.
been questioned by police once when the subway I was working at, we got robbed at gunpoint. And imagining the detective like having to come back to my house like 18 times over the course of his investigation.
Know anything about these?
I guess it is a small town.
Nope.
Nope.
Thank you.
Lots of nopes
Probably
from
be back
James.
later.
It's a necessity of the structure of the game. It would be fine if it was Jenks,
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
He mostly just showed me a mugshot lineup and then conspicuously put his finger towards one of the faces and was like, "Do you recognize any of these people?" And practically winked at me.
Have you seen these?
I said no. He had a mask on.
No. Don't know the car.
That's all for the moment.
Simon doesn't recognize the car.
Do you know anything about these?
Nope. Sorry.
Doesn't recognize the
later on, if
photos.
that's okay.
Who knows most about devil worship? Ryan, buddy.
A couple more questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what these are?
Oh, yes, that's my old car. It was vandalised. I took those for the insurance company.
You
Where
didn't
did you
take
find those?
them.
At the pub. You know who did this?
Yes. A girl called Lisa Blint. She was on the course, very strange girl.
And why did she write the words devil worshippers all over your car?
Well, she was a very strange girl. She had a lot of psychological problems. I'm not entirely sure, Inspector. I mean, she took a dislike to the course for some particular reason. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And she asked for a refund. I declined. And she decided to spray her disapproval all over my car.
Odd thing to spray, isn't it, though? Devil worshippers?
Well, she was a very odd girl, Inspector. Maybe she thought it was a way of getting back at us. I had no idea.
Did Rebecca know about it?
Well, yes, she
They're
did,
much
but
worse than
I wasn't
devil
about to
worshippers.
unleash Rebecca on her. She can be quite fierce sometimes.
Randy
you know.
and
I mean, the girl
objectivists.
wasn't vindictive. She had psychological problems. She lives in the village, actually. The run-down house at the end of the lane. Can't miss it.
Oh,
Really?
that's what that's for.
Right, thank you.
All right, that's good.
Okay, that's it for now. Thank you.
Something much worse than devil worshippers. Libertarians.
Could that be where Lisa lives? Run
Try
down
the old
house at the end of
house.
the lane. That's what Ryan said, wasn't it?
Is it Lisa?
Yes.
Inspector Jenks, I'm investigating an incident in the village. I wonder if I could ask you a few questions.
What sort of incident?
I'd rather come in and discuss it if that's all right with you. I promise I won't take long.
I'll just be back here like 13 times.
I'll just go in here, yes?
I have to go out in a minute.
Oh, look, I can come back later.
I might not be here. What did you want to ask?
I just wanted to ask you, did you know Kate Vine?
No.
Right. Well, I heard that you're familiar with Atlas, the life skills training company.
What do you want to know about Atlas?
Well, I heard you reacted badly to it.
Of course I reacted badly. So would anyone.
Now, why do you say that?
Because they're devil worshippers.
Devil
Spooky, spooky.
worshippers.
They're making demons appear. They're tricking everybody. They're getting people to join up, then they're putting demons inside them. You can see them.
See who?
Demons.
Where could you see them?
In the mirrors.
At Atlas?
Any mirror. You can't get rid of them. They stay inside you.
So, how did you get rid of them?
I didn't. Who writes this shit?
I just don't look. I put all the lights on. I make sure it's all bright. I put them on when I need to look in the mirror. If I make sure everything is bright, I just see myself without seeing the other person.
Who is the other person?
She's like me, but older. It's like her eyes sink in. She's all wrinkled, with a wrinkled mouth. Like she's dying. And then I realize I'm her. I'm not me anymore. I'm her. I'm sorry, I have to go now.
Spooky, spooky.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
What a very fragile and disturbed person, and utterly convinced that Atlas are worshipping the devil. How are Ryan and Paul going to get out of this one?
I wouldn't worry about it, Ravanon. There actually isn't a political quarantine if you check the rules. The rule is as long as something is pro-human rights and pro-science, it's allowed. We have that channel in Discord in order to shunt people to it if we get a unproductive debate.
A few more questions, please. Thank you.
Has devil worship ever been part of the course, Ryan?
Am I correct in assuming that you have spoken to Lisa Blind?
Damn
Would
right.
be. She's been telling me all about the Atlas obsession with Satanism, Ryan.
Then if you've met Lisa Blind, then you will have worked out for yourself that she has a very vivid imagination. She also has psychological problems, diagnosed psychological problems, as a matter of fact.
So where did she get the idea that you lot were, devil worshippers?
I really have no idea. The girl is insane. She's frightened of her own shadow, bless her. She actually thinks that demons are possessing her even now. You really can't trust a word she says.
So you are saying there has never been any devil worship at Atlas?
I don't even know what devil worship is, Inspector. It's not something I particularly know anything about. I certainly don't recall anyone ever having worshipped the devil at Atlas. We even tried to help the poor girl by paying for some treatment, but she didn't want it.
Really?
It's not easy to offer someone help when they think that you're the problem.
The idea of devil worshippers is so, funny to me. My wife is a card-carrying member of the Satanic Temple, and,
I'll probably be back later.
the thought that someone would worship the devil is this idea that someone believes all of the mythology of Christianity, believes that the devil is the bad guy and, the one who's destined to lose, and despite believing all that mythology, also just choose to side with the other guy. It's a wonderful fantasy if you're trying to, invent a bad guy to get mad at, but the number of people who, are actual devil worshippers or have been actual devil worshippers is, vanishingly small. All right, let me see what the note says. Call the chief for an update. So, okay, I think I'm right about this. I think whenever it says call the chief for an update, it means that I just unlocked a contradiction. So let me talk to him and see if he says, talk to Ryan about this devil worship thing.
Hello, Jenks.
Chief, some interesting developments to report. I met a former Atlas student who claims Atlas were involved in devil worship.
Devil worship.
So she claims. She was quite disturbed, even though this appears to have happened some time ago. I found some photos of Ryan's car, which she had vandalised, sprayed devil worshippers across it.
One way of getting your message across, I suppose, and what do the Rands say about it?
That Lisa's a fantasist. I'm not so sure, though. Something must have triggered it. Seems an odd thing to invent if there is or was no truth in it at all.
I presume the Rands deny knowing anything about it?
Ryan says he knows nothing about the occult.
Well, dig a bit deeper, work out what he really knows, and keep quizzing Paul.
Okay.
Sure thing. Thanks, Chief.
I think I'm right. I think that means that the chief basically gives you one half of the contradiction every time that you unlock it. So the one half he gave me for Paul is that he didn't know Emma, and the one half that he gave me for Ryan is that Ryan doesn't know anything about devil worship. So let me just check that at first, and I'll rush through the clues. I guess I can look in the info panel if I have to, in case it's another one of those complicated ones.
Ask you a couple more things, please.
This is fun for me, like trying to meta the game. Doesn't know anything about devil worship, so let's add that one, and then let's see if we can prove otherwise. Doesn't know why Lisa wrote devil worshippers. I guess it's not a contradiction. I won't pick that one. Shock aspect of the course. Wearing costumes. Auto-hypnosis, not a major part of the course. During ceremony. Background in psychology. Never use ECT machines. Hey, how do you know it's a devil sign if you don't know anything about devil worship? Wait, really? Okay, I guess I was wrong. That felt good, though. I guess it's a devil sign, not devil worship, huh? No interest in drugs. Drugs not allowed on the premises. Used to read about black magic and satanic rituals.
Aha.
So, you used to read a lot about voodoo and satanic rituals, but you don't know anything about devil worship?
Well, obviously. I just meant we don't worship the devil.
Okay.
We're not devil worshippers here at Atlas, Inspector. Ridiculous.
But the point is, Ryan, that you claim not to know anything about it, but admitted you were obsessed with it when you were younger. Are you sure none of that made its way onto the Atlas course? And that Lisa isn't basing her beliefs on anything within that course?
Lisa isn't basing her beliefs on anything other than her own imagination, Inspector. Look, we do use some techniques that some students find difficult, disturbing. We encourage them to see things differently, that's all. And some people simply aren't up to that. Some people, like Lisa, that's why we introduced the aptitude test.
What's the aptitude test?
This.
Is it a Facebook quiz? Which Star Wars character are you? I'm covered in fur and like to growl.
We ask students to
I'm a scoundrel with a heart of gold.
Medical history, psychological issues, that kind of thing. Any medication that they have used in the past, any medication that they currently are using. Here, take a look. Basically, it's just to try and make sure that we don't get another Lisa.
Has it worked?
Well, touch wood, so far, yes.
Can I keep a copy of this?
Thank you.
I wonder how much importance they actually give to this test. And what are they doing that's so disturbing anyway?
Thank you.
Atlas
Probably be back
aptitude.
later.
Ask everyone about the test. Okay. do you know about the Atlas Facebook quiz?
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind. Did you do a test before you started at Atlas?
Oh, yeah.
Myers-Briggs.
Just questions about if I had any illnesses or mental health problems or stuff like that, you know. But they didn't actually ask for any proof, so I could have lied through your teeth on that one. Don't think they actually checked.
Interesting.
Simple health check. Easy to lie on the form.
That's all for the moment. Thank you. Have you seen one of these before?
No, not this one exactly, but we had to fill something similar in on the first night at Atlas. One of those aptitude tests. Fitness and stuff like that.
Fitness, you say?
Be back later on, if that's okay.
Becca, what do you know about this shit?
Ask about a few more things, please. Do you know anything about this?
It's the aptitude test, isn't it, for Atlas? What do you want to know?
Do you know why it was introduced?
I think they had some trouble with some unsuitable students. I suppose you have to be careful who you work with.
Testing to confirm that you lied on the
Probably be
form.
back later.
On a scale of 10 to
Questions,
11,
if that's okay?
where 10 is amazing and 11 is incredible, how awesome is Machiavelli?
Do you know anything about devil worship, Paul?
I beg your pardon?
Devil worship? Satanism?
Am I missing something here?
I heard Atlas had elements of Satanism on the course.
You were misinformed. We're a training company, we're not devil worshippers. What kind of a question is that?
So you've no interest in the occult?
No, Inspector, I have no interest in the occult any more than I have interest in pole vaulting, cheese making, or snake charming. Anything else you want to know that I'm not interested in?
Or are you not interested in snake charming or cheese making? I guess maybe he's not good at it. Somebody showed up right now and was an expert in either cheese making or snake charming, or even pole vaulting. I'd want to know all about it.
Can you tell me a bit about this, please? It's the Atlas aptitude test.
What do you want to know?
What does it test, exactly?
It's a test we introduced to make sure that any students didn't have any major personality problems, skeletons in the cupboard, so to speak.
You fit a skeleton in the cupboard?
We introduced it because we had a little bit of a problem with one of the students.
Lisa.
You are well informed.
And what do you think it was that disturbed her?
I believe that the course proved to be too demanding for her. We discovered that she had one or two psychological problems and she couldn't handle it.
And did you change anything else on the course apart from introducing the
Yeah, right.
We increased the entrance age to 21. Well, wasn't much, but it's about the only thing we could do. We didn't want another Lisa. We didn't want students turning around and suing us, did we?
Lisa couldn't handle the course techniques. Test designed to reveal psychological issues.
That's it for the time being, thank you.
Does James give a shit about this? Probably not. Simon, Emma, James, and Rebecca.
A few more questions, please.
James wouldn't know about that, but he would know about Lisa.
Do you know anyone who is interested in or involved with devil worship?
Have you met Lisa?
Which Lisa are you talking about?
Mad Lisa, lives on her own, doesn't like mirrors.
Yeah, I've met her. You think she's mad?
If you can't look at yourself in the mirror without seeing ghosts, you've got problems, don't you think?
How do you know her?
She came to the farm for some eggs a couple of times. Got talking to her once, that's all.
And what did she tell you?
Nothing much. Except she thought the devil was after her.
What did you tell her?
Told her the devil needs a good reason to be after you. But she was just like most people, really, blind to herself, except She's more extreme. That's all madness is. Being blind to yourself.
Interesting.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Simon, Emma, and Rebecca. Yeah, I guess I didn't talk to either of them about Lisa.
Ask you a couple more things, please. Have you ever come across anyone interested in or involved with the occult?
Ryan. It's like his thing.
Black magic? No, why?
Atlas don't use occult techniques or anything like that?
Atlas? Not unless Ryan's got a secret he's not telling me about. Why, who's been talking?
Just a line of inquiry. Okay, thanks.
No occult techniques.
That's all for the moment. Thank you.
Y'all know Lisa? Mad Lisa? She tearing you apart?
Questions, if you don't mind. Have you ever heard about there being devil worship at Atlas?
Devil worship? No. Definitely not. Who said that?
It's just something I heard. Okay, thanks. Be back later on, if that's okay. What do you know about devil worship?
Devil worship? Where?
At Atlas.
Devil worship at Atlas? No, there's none of that.
Okay, that's it for now.
So I didn't get anything from that, I don't think. There must be a contradiction somewhere. Okay. So the chief talked to me when I talked to Paul forever ago about not knowing Emma, so I'm going to assume that that's one half of it.
If you don't mind.
And I'm going to try to rule out everything else. Hardly knew Emma. I don't know if anything else could possibly prove knowing Emma. All the students enjoyed the stunt. Try that one maybe, because she didn't like it. Okay, that's not correct. I find stuff that's arguably relevant. Possible to be hurt or damaged by hypnosis. It seems like that one disagrees with the Lisa left because she couldn't handle it thing, but maybe I'll come back to that. Free themselves from guilt. Liam was right. Sylvia wasn't in the pub. Mirrors used for scrying. Monarch costumes. Bought a necklace but didn't buy it for Kate, so could have bought it for her, but I don't have any other information. I can do it out of an effort to brute force it. Oh, I did? Okay. Maybe if I inspected it, there's more info about that?
You say you didn't know Emma, yet you bought her a freedom necklace.
Maybe that was something that Emma said when I talked to her.
Saying anything about buying Emma a necklace.
So you didn't buy her one?
Wait, is it just brute force?
So you did buy her one. So that means you must have known her, and quite well too.
Stop making such a big thing about this, Inspector. Look, I've been around a few years. The clock is ticking. And I admit I have an embarrassing weakness for attractive women. It was a stupid mistake, but that's all it was.
So you're saying you tried it on with her?
No, I didn't try it on. I bought her a necklace. I'm not aware that there's a law against buying presents unless, of course, the Third Reich has been elected while I was at a bridge party.
Dude, that's
Emma was old enough to
going
make
a little
decisions
far
for herself. And as a matter of fact, she decided that she didn't want to be bothered with an old fool like me.
Outlawing gift giving was something the Nazis got themselves involved in.
All right.
Like father, like son.
Godwin's
no
Law.
surprises there. I wonder how many students Paul has tried it on with.
That must be a British way of saying that. Tried it on with, as in like to give someone a gift and put the gift on them. Did you buy the necklace and put it on her, I guess, is maybe how I would say it. Call the chief for an update. Okay, so if my theory is correct, I guess first let me check if the info is there. Emma had a similar necklace. Yeah, I don't think I was able to know. I think I just had to guess that he gave it to Emma. Huh. Get it on with. Oh, like let's get it on. Okay. That would make sense.
Make it interesting, Jenks.
Chief, I finally saw a bit of what goes on at Atlas. I walked in on a meeting. Very strange. There were several students sitting around a fire taking it in turns to burn handmade woolen dolls.
You're hoping I'm going to say tell me more, aren't you? I'm changing my mind.
Ryan had an explanation for it, as did Simon. He claimed it was all about burning your past or something. Actually, Simon told me something interesting. He said they also use auto-hypnosis on the course.
Oh, what's that?
From the previous hour.
Hypnotizing yourself. Apparently, that may have been what disturbed Lisa so much.
Yeah.
Well, not in theory. Nobody I've spoken to seems to think so.
Well, if it disturbs Lisa so much, then it can't be all
Okay.
safe for everybody,
Yeah.
can it?
I suppose it depends on your psychological state to begin with, but I'll look into it.
Okay, keep it up, Jenks.
Always do, Chief. Always do.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate that he tends to give you half of the contradiction. Okay. Oh, wait. Wrong person. I want to go back to Paul.
Couple more questions, if that's okay.
So, auto-hypnosis. Possible to hurt or be damaged is what he suggested. So I think it's the one I was thinking about earlier, the couldn't handle the course techniques. Is that right? Yes, nice.
So nobody has ever been affected by auto-hypnosis, except Lisa.
Hypnosis wasn't the problem, Inspector. Lisa was the problem with Lisa. That's why we introduced the test.
But the hypnosis was the trigger, wasn't it?
Lisa arrived on the course believing we were all devil worshippers. She was nuts to start with. We didn't make her like that.
Well, as far as I can tell, Paul, you've had one student accuse you of devil worship and 2 others commit suicide. Some of your students aren't having a very good time on this course, are they?
Nonsense. Kate was enjoying every minute of it. She couldn't get enough of it.
Really?
Wouldn't use that as evidence in accord with the way our HOA
Probably
behaves.
competent, flirty.
With who?
You mean with whom?
With whom?
Pretty much everybody. Including me, as I remember.
Really? And, did you respond?
I don't get into relationships with students, Inspector. Company policy. It's not professional.
What about Emma?
Interesting admission that Kate flirted with him. There's no way Paul would have turned down an opportunity like that.
Wait, did I get a new thing for that on the auto-hypnosis, maybe? Avoids relationship with students. Bullshit. Shit, this was under an Emma one. Is it the necklace? Oh, okay, hold on. Where he's changed his rule. Once tried to date Emma.
Aha. So you avoid relationships with students, except for Emma.
We just had that conversation, right?
Inspector, that was a long time ago.
And what about Kate Vine? Did you try to date her or not?
Oh, don't be so ridiculous, Inspector. Kate was
Don't
an
be
exceptionally
ridiculous.
clever girl. She knew exactly what she wanted, and she knew how to get it.
You mean that Kate approached you?
It wouldn't surprise me if she was playing everyone in the group. Kate had more enemies than you'd think. She was a very, very manipulative young woman.
Hey, 10 p.m.
10 o'clock, it's getting late.
Beauty.
I'm gonna have to pick up the pace if I'm gonna solve this by midnight.
Wonder who's in the pub.
What about Simon?
I really don't think it's my place, darling.
It is your place here.
I just don't want to tell tales.
Tell him about Simon. You know what happens when you don't do as I say.
So it's going to be that kind of evening, is it?
If you play your cards right.
Only if you deal. Problems? Hello, Inspector.
Wait, no, I wanted that to go on.
See you later.
So it's running joke I enjoy in comedy media of like making a line like that go on too long. I keep trying to do a card metaphor. I still can't do. Oh, let me check the thing.
Well, isn't that interesting?
This is the first time they've shown that area as relevant, so. I guess there's no time cost for pressing the A button on a screen, so I may as well just do it all the time, just in case one of those things happens. I'm more nervous about it now after the torch thing. Nothing to find here, okay. Visit the lodge. Rebecca and Ryan.
A few more questions, please. Thank you.
The cupboard downstairs, there's a lot of unopened stuff in it.
Is there?
Prescriptions. Made out to you.
Oh, they're just spare painkillers. The chemist always gives us too many. He's a friend of the family.
Interesting. Chemist is a friend of the family.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Oh, really? Called the chief just from that? See, before I thought the chief was like optional hints, but I think there was at least, I have a note in my text file that there was one event where I had to call the chief for plot progression. Or at least maybe I thought I did because it showed up in the light bulb menu.
Any news, Jenks?
Made a
What
bit
about
of
her
discovery
drugs?
at the pub, Chief. Apparently Rebecca takes what I think is a morphine derivative. She had some on prescription in a cupboard at the pub.
What did she say about that?
Well, I couldn't make her out, to be honest, but she didn't admit it was morphine. And I saw Ryan taking something from the cupboard too. Didn't see what it was, though.
It could have been the same thing. Well, check it out and get back to me, will you?
Certainly will. Speak later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm increasingly becoming convinced that the chief pop-up appears when a contradiction becomes available, not when you get half of it, but when you have the full one available, because I think that he brought up the Emma one when I had the whole Emma one last time.
A couple more things, please.
So I'm going to try... Contains her painkillers. Aptitude test. Car photos. All stunts. Parties. Guitars. Doll burning. James casts spells in the woods. Just heard that he grows cannabis, which isn't anything significant. Doesn't take any drugs or medicines. Hey! How dare you, Rebecca?
So, you don't take any medicines except for prescription painkillers.
Well, they're not actually for me, they're Ryan's. For some reason, the chemist always makes them out to my name. He's
For some reason.
An old gentleman.
Does
Probably
Ryan
shouldn't have
need
his job.
prescription painkillers?
Yes, he's got arthritis.
Really? He's young to suffer from that, isn't he?
He doesn't have it badly, but he does need medication from time to time.
What medicine is it?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. Ryan will know.
So Ryan's the one using the prescriptions. I think I might have a word with him, work out exactly what this medicine is.
Can we say it's like a morphine something or other? Simon, Emma, Ryan, and Paul. Okay. Try Paul first since he's right by here. Always want to try to walk everywhere at the beginning of an hour chapter.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind. When did Ryan begin to suffer from arthritis?
Ryan doesn't suffer from arthritis.
Really?
The only thing that Ryan suffers from is a pathetic inability to deal with any kind of discomfort. He pulled his back sometime last year. Since then, he's going around telling everybody he suffers from arthritis.
I thought he had medication for it.
Oh, he only has medication because his GP, who is almost as dysfunctional as he is, keeps prescribing it for him.
So you don't believe he really has arthritis?
Not at all.
We didn't know about the prescription.
Thank you.
Okay.
Probably be back later.
Lodge, Simon, Emma, Ryan. Wow, waited. Jeez, dude. You didn't hear the loud clanking noise? Simon.
Bit careless, Simon. Probably nothing important, but at this stage, I need all the clues I can get.
Interesting. Dropped keyring. What does that say? St. Bernard? Dean Hayfield, Managing Director at Aztec. It's clever. Okay. Let's start with Emma, I guess.
Ask about a few more things, please.
Tell me all about Ryan's arthritis, Emma.
Did you know about Ryan Round's arthritis?
Arthritis? I didn't think Ryan had arthritis.
Have you seen this before?
Nope. Sorry, never heard of him.
What do you know about this?
Must have been fun going to like thrift stores to get all the clues for this game.
On holiday. Has he lost it?
He dropped it.
He can't keep anything.
Well, why'd you get it for? That's fine. All right.
That's all for the moment. Thank you.
You dropped this, but I'm going to keep it.
Ryan? He's got arthritis?
Apparently.
Oh, I didn't know. I hadn't noticed he had any problems.
I think you dropped this outside. Someone you know.
Oh, this is just from some IT guy I met. I don't need it.
Oh, thanks.
I noticed some numbers on the back. Do you need these?
I don't know. What is it?
1905?
Oh, yeah, that's just a pin for something. It's okay, I can remember it.
So not an offshore savings account or anything?
No, it's not important.
It's not important.
Is this yours?
Yeah. That's from my keys. Where did you find that?
Just outside.
Right. Oh, it must have come off when Nathan dropped my keys off. He was borrowing my car.
That's very trusting.
Yeah, I suppose it is. I am a bit too trusting, really. It's a new car as well.
Be back later on, if that's okay.
No idea how any of that matters. Call the chief? What? One of those things had something to do... Alright, I'm going to try not calling the chief and see if I can guess. There's a limited number of
questions, if that's okay.
Clues. The pin doesn't make sense. Owns a car, maybe? Offers to lend the car to friends. Well, that's not very consistent with the Atlas bullshit. Doesn't next recognize photos or the car. Do something risky. Masks. Belt doesn't serve a useful purpose. I don't know about that. Similar necklace. Bike is the only way Simon can get to work. What's up with this car, dude? Heyo. I don't know why
So
that
the bike's the only way you
matters.
can get to work, yes?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the car?
No, I can't drive the car yet, can I? I don't have my license.
Right.
I got a windfall from an insurance payout.
Okay, let's see, what?
Just figured I'd buy something sensible with it.
Glad the
straight
bike
away
finally
instead of
paid
wasting
off.
the money.
What was the insurance payout?
It was for a laptop. It got stolen down at Atlas.
At Atlas?
Well, they didn't break in. I think they just walked in and took it. The laptop was in a storeroom, but I think the lock was broken, to be honest.
Doesn't sound like they're taking their security very seriously.
Actually, it got a lot better after that.
Think I'll check it anyway.
Must have been a very nice laptop to be able to buy a
laptop.
car with the insurance. Or a very cheap car.
Yeah,
I'll have to
holy
have a
shit.
talk with Ryan about his security measures.
I'm trying to imagine the most expensive laptop I can conceive of.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Maybe would be like $3,000 if it was like an insane, like luxury show-off laptop, right?
Did you know about Simon's laptop being stolen?
Yeah, because it had all my college work on it, which I hadn't backed up or saved.
Oof.
Not that it mattered much, but I did buy a new one. And Simon uses it now. When I let him.
That's it for the time being. Thank you.
Also, he must have an interesting insurance policy that his laptop was covered while he was, like, at this Atlas building. Is that a PIN number on the business card? The things you haven't asked James, Rebecca, Ryan. I'm gonna start with Ryan, I guess. So I'm already over here. I was on my way to him. Anything new in the kitchen? Shit, I didn't mean to do that. Shit. Meant to leave. Maybe it's a different DVD this time. I was able to back out, thank God. Okay. So it's pretty long last time.
A few more questions, please.
Simon's stolen laptop.
Were you at Atlas when Simon's laptop was stolen?
Oh, I believe I was, yes. It was taken from the storeroom in the hallway.
Was it ever recovered?
No, we didn't catch anyone. We're quite exposed out here. Somebody could just have wandered along the lanes, seen into the storeroom. It's not particularly secure. They could have been in and out within minutes. That's why we advise people to keep their valuables with them. You can't be too careful these days, Inspector.
Storeroom isn't secure. Advise students to keep their valuables.
Have you seen this before?
No, sorry.
Okay, that was quick.
Know anything about this?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. We have our own IT chap. Lovely chap, in fact. Fat and sweaty, though. It's like a double act, doesn't it?
Thanks. You almost got a drink on.
Tell me about your arthritis.
Oh, you found out about that. Well, yes. I'm old before my time.
That's very unlucky to have it so young.
Well, I take a lot from life, Inspector. And sometimes life likes to give you a little bit back. I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too debilitating. It's mainly some in my right hand, some in my left hand. It's not particularly a problem. Makes it difficult to hold small things, though.
What do you
Like
take
that
for
glass
it?
you've been holding for like an
get
hour?
a prescription painkiller.
How often do you need that?
Not often, as and when. I keep some here, I keep some at home. It's not a problem.
Do you know what the medicine in the cupboard at the pub is for?
You'd better ask Rebecca about that. I'm not exactly sure what's in there. She tends to keep her wares under lock and key. Do you know, our wedding night was quite a surprise.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Oh, got another chief thing. All right, so let's assume that one of the things I just showed him has a contradiction in it. Storeroom isn't secure. As the students keep valuables with them. Hasn't seen the key ring. Has arthritis. Keeps key coolers at work and home. Keeps the cupboard locked. Okay, so something about the arthritis or something about the laptop, presumably. Probably not the IT consultant, so... Psychological problems. Or... Just having this, like, trick of noticing when a chief pop-up comes up is really nice for... I was getting really badly lost sometimes, not even knowing where to start, but at least if I know where to start and anchor myself, I can try to track these down a little bit. Experiments of settlement fee. Doesn't keep medicines on site. That's not true, right? Didn't he just say that? At work and home. Hey, nice.
So, you don't keep any medicines on site at Atlas?
No.
Except your prescription painkillers?
Well, these are not available to the students.
But they are kept on site?
Yes, but they're locked away. They're kept in the storeroom. Nobody would have access to them.
You're sure about that?
Absolutely sure.
And what are the painkillers, Ryan?
They're painkillers. Just painkillers. Normal painkillers.
Paracetamol, codeine, morphine.
Well, all right, they're morphine tablets, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, come
Papers,
on,
business
Inspector.
papers.
I know what you're thinking, but there's no way Kate could have had access to them.
Because they're in the storeroom?
Well, not just that. She wouldn't have even known about them, or where they were.
Sure about that?
Yes.
So it is morphine Ryan's taking. The pieces are starting to come together. Now I just have to work out how Kate got hold of it. If it was Ryan's morphine she got hold of course.
That's all for the moment. Thank you.
No idea what to do with that at the moment. Got another chief update, though. Although, I guess I didn't check to see if the chief update went away last time. I assume it does. I assume you can't call him for a tip about what you're currently working on. Let me go and see if he mentions the morphine thing.
Go on, Jenks.
Chief, Ryan's taking morphine for his
Okay,
arthritis.
so it did update. So that very next line must go to something.
Insisted nobody could have had access to it.
Well, we know that's a load of rubbish, don't we? You're on to it, Jenks. Which means all you have to do is keep the pressure up. Crack it.
You okay, Chief?
Gotta go. Bye-bye.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, so I'm going to try to avoid actually talking to the chief, because I kind of like just having effectively a pop-up that says you just got evidence that matters, right?
If you don't mind.
That I think I can depend on it. I think it's worked that way every time. So it should be secure storeroom. What is that? The storeroom isn't secure? You're kidding, right? I think that's it. Okay. Nice.
So the storeroom isn't particularly secure, yet
Just gonna
you
start from
keep
the
your
bottom and go
morphine
up, but-
tablets in there. I thought you said no one could get access to the morphine, but they could quite easily, couldn't they, Ryan?
I didn't mean that storeroom. I
A
meant
different
a different
storeroom,
storeroom. I
of
keep them in
course.
there.
Okay. So where was it locked up?
It's upstairs. It's got a combination lock on it. Nobody could have access to it except me and Dad. Nobody.
I might have a look at that if you don't mind.
Is it the...
Don't mind
the
at all.
PIN number?
A combination locked room, I see. Well, I might have a look around for that. See how secure and combination locked it really is.
How combination locked
Be
is it
back
really?
later on, if that's okay.
Up the stairs. Inspect. Talking about the keypad. Is that a PIN number on the business card? Okay, let's try it. Hey, nice. Oh, it would have been nice if they did the worn down numbers, right?
Welcome to the mirror room.
The fuck?
This exercise is all about identifying the difference between the image one presents to the world and one's real self.
I'm enjoying it so far, Curtis.
In our unconscious.
It's like just the investigation part of Phoenix, right? But much briefer, which I appreciate.
The more you separate from your persona, the more aware you will become of your true desires and ambitions. Chant with us. I am free from my image. I am free from my past.
It's pretty normal.
I am free from myself.
I am free from my image. I am free from my past. I am free from myself.
Pretty sure Quicken does one of these.
I am free from my past. I am free from myself.
This exercise involves the use of liberation masks. You have now completed Module 1. Module 2 covers boundary testing, threshold testing, and extreme testing. Please
Extreme
read the notes
testing.
carefully before
I love
attempting
this
the
actor.
module.
What the fuck is up with your weird mirror room? Do you actually keep your drugs locked in there?
A few more questions, if you don't mind. Can you tell me what you know about the mirror room upstairs?
Oh, you found that then. Well, it's very similar to the costumes, Inspector. It's designed to help the students look at themselves differently.
You guys don't have a mirror room?
What do you do with the mirrors?
You look at yourself, Inspector. You look at yourself until you start seeing yourself as others do. And you don't see yourself as you do anymore. It really, the idea...
You do.
...is that you can see yourself eventually in any way you wish.
So why in a locked
So,
room?
do they scare the shit out of Lisa with that room?
Distracted, that's all.
How often is it used?
Not often, a few times a month. Some students find it useful, some don't.
I don't believe
Okay,
you.
that's it for now. Thank you.
Mirrors, drugs, and Satan. But not the good Satan. Simon, Emma, James, Rebecca, Paul. Okay, just go in order, I guess. Simon.
Couple more questions, if that's okay. Do you know about the mirror room at Atlas?
Yeah.
What's it used for?
Well, it's mainly for the auto-hypnosis module. You go in and you stare into the mirror and...
Yeah, they
go
definitely
into
use it to
trance.
drive Lisa crazy.
Then when you're ready, you come back out.
So you just go in whenever you want to?
Oh, no. There's certain times when you're allowed in, and only they know the combinations anyway, so...
That's bullshit, dude. I just got the combination from you.
You don't know the combination?
No.
Well, we're calling that one immediately. I don't need to get the hint for that. doesn't know the combination is full of shit.
Aha.
Not a big part of the course, exactly.
So you didn't know the combination to the locked mirror room?
Nope.
Except you'd written it down, hadn't you? This is the combination to the mirror room, Simon, that you wrote. It isn't a pin.
Suck it.
It's a combination.
Yeah.
You see, this sort of thing makes me suspicious, Simon.
Just a little bit.
What were you doing in there that you didn't want anyone, including me, to find out?
It's just part of the course, isn't it? I just wanted to go in there when I was ready.
On your own? You didn't give the number to anyone else?
No.
Simon, there was morphine kept in that room that might have played a part in Kate Vine's death. Did Kate have the number?
Yes, okay. We both went in.
Together?
We were trying to outdo each other. We both tried to morphine.
What do you mean trying to outdo each other?
It's part of the course. To see how far you can push yourself. To see if you could do something you wouldn't normally do.
When was this?
A few months ago.
How often did you try it?
Only that once. I'd never do it again.
How about Kate?
I don't know. Sorry.
Oh shit, I still have other people to talk to. I guess I can still talk to those people.
Kate got the morphine. But what exactly does this testing involve? Could this have been what killed Kate? 11 o'clock. Just an hour left to solve this thing.
Usually the last one is not a gimme like that. Haven't searched the woods for a while. Alright, let's go do that then. Appreciate that, because I try to skip the woods whenever possible. I guess while I'm on my way I can talk to some of them here.
Thank you.
What do you know about the spooky mirror room?
Do you know about the mirror room at Atlas?
I think it's day for night, Robinon.
Mirror room. No, I heard about it, but I think it was only for the students later on.
I don't think they re-recorded everything at different hours. They may have done a few.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Confirming that she's done. I think she is. James, Rebecca, and Paul. Okay. Spooky music.
Just keep pushing.
The fuck?
Just keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. You can push it all the way in, Tom, if you want to.
Maybe don't do that?
Excellent, Tom.
Excuse me. Would someone care to tell me exactly what's going on here?
Yeah.
Don't come any closer.
That man needs a doctor.
No, he doesn't.
I don't need a doctor. I'm fine. Go away.
What is this?
A test.
A normal thing.
What?
What does it look like? It's
Look
a
at these
threshold
guys
test.
learning
a
about
pain
business.
Threshold test. I thought you were supposed to be good at working things out, Inspector Jenks.
And so this would be for Atlas, would it? Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle.
You disappear now.
It's not a good idea to talk to a police inspector like that.
Do you want me to make you?
It's okay.
I think he's the guy
Tom.
that put the thing on my head, the bag.
Mr. Jenks won't be bothering us anymore.
I said it was Jason, but
Don't make any rash commitments.
he has the hoodie on, but the day for night makes it so you can't see the color. Some people's Kyles, man, I'll tell you what.
Well, well. You really should take more care of your things, Ryan. Is your keys, Kyle?
No.
So that's threshold testing, is it? Sticking a skewer through your hand? I could just ask Ryan or Paul directly about this, but I think I'll bide my time. see what I can do with this key fob first.
Ryan written on it. All right, well, maybe that it's kind of nice that you have the key fob and it just opens the garage, but because there's already a car there, you think to check it. I like that one. So maybe this opens the trunk. You gotta stop dropping his key fobs everywhere. It's weird that it's happened twice.
Bingo. Well, Ryan, what have you been up to? Be very interesting to see how he explains this one.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. What you writing a check to Kate for her? Yeah, going to check the trunk, dude? Anybody has a body in his trunk. It's this guy. When an item gets turned like red like that, I think that means I'm done with it, yeah? Alright, I wonder what James is up to. He's been useless for like the past 4 chapters. The fuck?
Ask you a couple more things, please.
Wouldn't know about that.
Recognize this at all?
What was that shit outside, James?
Yeah, he fixed my laptop.
Does he live locally?
I think so.
Dean Hayfield. Dean Hayfield is the killer, I'm calling it.
Seen this before?
Don't think so.
This guy James, the actor, got paid a bunch of money to say
Thank
nope.
you. Probably be
No.
back later.
No idea what that is. I'm only here for things that are drug related. I assume the cutscene was significant in some ways. I'm going to try to check. Start from the top. All right, shoebox.
So
Fuck.
James is interested in poppy pods, is he?
Yeah.
I think he's got some explaining to do.
Opium. I mean, we've kind of established that he grows drugs. That's like James's deal. Let's try the regular greenhouse as well. Nothing. I should be checking each of the interstitial areas too.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind.
What about these poppies?
What can you tell me about several boxes of dried poppy pods in the greenhouse back there?
Feel free to take some if you want.
What are they for, James?
Decoration? Why?
Decoration.
Uh-huh.
There's a big market for them among the over 70s.
So what are you doing with them?
Selling them to grannies.
Okay, James, let's just cut to the chase. Are you extracting opium from them?
He also has
Mate,
700 boxes of
I can honestly
Sudafed.
say I've never done anything like that, Inspector.
Sure about that?
Scout's honour.
And who was the guy delivering them?
A friend. Someone gave them to him. He asked me if I wanted them. I said I'd have a look and see if I liked them.
You just thought you'd have a look? No particular reason?
I'm a plant scientist, that's what I do.
Have you ever sold them to anyone else?
I only got them a few minutes ago.
In the past.
In
You know
the
Kate's
past.
body had opium in the blood when it was found?
No, I didn't. Hey, that's nothing to do with me.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, James.
That's all for the moment. Thank you.
Do we got a chief pop up there? I haven't called James on anything in a while. No, I guess not. Okay, well, we'll keep going. Rebecca, I don't think I'm allowed to talk to Lisa more. I think it said Paul was one of them.
Ask
What
about
do you
a
know
few more
about
things,
poppy
please.
pods, Paul? Oh, I got a lot of stuff to ask Paul.
Do you know who this is? Dean Hayfield, Aztec.
Sorry, never heard of him. We have some prisoner sort who does our IT. Large guy. No manners.
I think Paul's my favorite actor other than, obviously, Jenks.
Seen this before anywhere?
So he displays evidence is great. Nope.
And what do you know about Simon's laptop being stolen from Atlas?
Oh, no, I wasn't happy about it.
What did you do about it?
Ryan paid a con man to install a complicated CCTV system at twice the price that it would probably have cost.
Yeah, it sounds like my HOA.
Trick, we haven't had a theft since.
CCTV.
Can you tell me about the room with the mirrors at Atlas?
That was Ryan's
the
idea.
Combination lock.
How did you get in there?
I was given the code for the combination.
By Ryan?
Well, nobody else is allowed to know the code, are they?
I'm not in theory.
So how's
Smart
the room
Jenks.
used on the course, then?
It's a meditation room where the students can reflect on themselves, literally.
And what about the CD?
That helps too. It's part of the program.
So you send the students into the room, they put the CD on, they stare into the mirrors. And how long does this last for?
Until the CD finishes or they fall asleep. What else would you like to know?
Or they believe they're demon-possessed. Yeah, Jenks feels like he's doing his best, like, 90s, early aughts, adventure game character. Like, this game reminds me a lot of Titanic Adventure Out of Time, but a little bit more playable.
Now, why do you think Ryan might want to give Kate a cheque for £500?
I've really no idea. Where did you find it?
Just outside.
You better ask him.
You think Ryan was interested romantically in Kate?
I know he has a weakness for blondes, but I didn't think it had gone so far as his offering them cash.
Wait, was Kate blonde? For some reason I didn't think she was. I'm not going to call him on that. I don't think it's going to matter, but... Yeah, I didn't think so. Kate's not a blonde! That definitely matters.
What do you know about poppy pods?
Poppy pod?
Ever come across anyone selling them, using them?
No.
Be
Well, that
back
was
later
helpful.
on, if that's okay.
Got any chief pop-ups? Nope. Simon, Emma, Rebecca, and Ryan.
A couple more questions, if that's okay. Have you seen this before?
The business card of the killer. 100% positive.
Do you know anything about this?
No, sorry.
You'd think you'd want to look in the place where all of the evidence points, but it's the opposite of that. The Insulindian Phasmid did it.
Do you know anything about a locked room at Atlas with mirrors in it?
Not off the top of my head, no. I think that's a question for Ryan.
You don't know about the creepy mirror room.
What do you know about poppy pods?
Go on.
Ever come across anyone trying to sell them or anything like that? Maybe even in here?
Not that I remember.
Are there any grannies that come in here?
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Simon, Emma, and Ryan. Okay. We're never going to go in that building where we found that key, are we?
question. Have you ever known of anyone selling dried poppy pods?
Poppy pods.
Poppy pods.
Keep saying poppy pods.
Don't think so. Isn't that opium?
Kind of. It's okay.
It was Jenks. Yeah, I think I probably told this before, but Andrea was showing me Murder on the Orient Express, which I guess mute for like 20 seconds if you don't want spoilers for an ancient murder mystery story. But it's about, is it Hercule Poirot, the famous detective guy, and his assistant are on this train, and they're trying to figure out who committed this murder. And I guessed that it was Hercule's assistant, and I actually had a pretty good reason for expecting it. But it turned out it was literally everyone else on the train. And she was like, wow, Dylan, like, you picked the only way you could have possibly been
that's
wrong.
it for the time being, thank you.
If you had guessed literally anyone else, you would have been at least 1/12 right. It's the ultimate quote 3.
Odd question, but have you ever seen anyone handling dried poppy pods?
Poppy pods? As in, for opium? No. Though James did have opium tea once, I think.
Where did he get it from?
I don't know. I didn't ask. James does his own thing.
What does opium tea taste like?
I don't know. I didn't try it.
Really?
I didn't want to risk it, did I? I went to hospital once. I had codeine and I went into anaphylactic shock. The doctor said it was an opium derivative, apparently, so...
Allergic to opiates.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
But didn't he just say that he like did morphine in a mirror room? Is that gonna show up as a chief thing? No, I guess not. All right, well, let's go talk to Ryan. Maybe he went into anaphylactic shock.
Ask you a couple more things, please.
Got a lot for Ryan.
Would you like to explain what this is, please, Ryan? £500 intended for Kate. It fell out of your car. At least I assume that's your car on the driveway at Brandon House.
I suppose so.
So why were you going to give Kate £500, Ryan?
It was just a little incentive, that's all. Just a little incentive.
Not very little, Ryan. £500.
She was a very good student. We
By
heard
the way,
that she
I've
was
got
leaving.
2 of your key
We
fobs,
wanted to give her something.
But you didn't.
Well, obviously not.
Are you sure there wasn't any other reason you might want to give her this? Personal reason?
No!
Well, I'd like to keep hold of this for a little while, if you don't mind.
Well, don't consider it a bribe, will you, Inspector?
I won't.
Know anything about poppy pods?
Poppy pods?
Come across anyone selling them or anything?
Poppy pods?
Yes, he said it.
Don't tell anyone, Inspector, but I hear that you can make opium out of those. Why do you ask?
Doesn't matter.
Poppy pods.
That's all for the moment. Thank you.
All right, so I probably got him on this, right? Call the chief.
A few more
Try to
questions,
avoid
if you
actually
don't
calling
mind.
him. Knows opium can be extracted from poppy pods. Money meant as an incentive. No other reason. Kate wanted to leave Atlas. The mirror locks so they're not distracted. The thing about morphine maybe connecting to the poppy pods, I thought. Okay, so it was a fantasist. It's car. How about this red torch I stole from you? All went too far. Dabbles in playing the guitar. Students aren't coerced or bribed. I mean, it's not kind of what I got out of the auto-hypnosis thing, but It did say that there's a chief message now, so I guess I'll try that. Hey, okay. I guess that's fine. I don't remember him really talking about the bribe part, more the coercion part.
Students aren't coerced or bribed in any way, except Kate.
Oof. I'm not sure what you mean.
You said you were going to give Kate the £500 as an incentive. That's coercion, isn't it?
I really don't think you could call it coercion, Inspector.
It is, hi, Squixon.
It was an incentive, that's all, a little encouragement.
So
below the video, you can see it'll say live or rerun.
Incentives?
Okay, incentive is probably the wrong word. The money was just to see how Kate would respond. It was part of her assessment.
Assessment?
We have to assess students as they progress. We don't use conventional methods like sitting an exam or anything like that. People pay for this course per session. We have to know if they're committed or not.
So you're assessing their progress and testing their commitment?
Yes, we are. We have to. This is a business, not a charity.
So Ryan's claiming the money was part of Kate's assessment. And did this assessment also involve threshold testing, I wonder? Or was the money for something else?
Wait, so does that come up on the other thing? Gave Kate money to test assessor. Okay, that's new. Gotcha.
Be back later on, if that's okay.
Oh, it still says call the chief. Well, it should involve this one then.
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
So this is the new answer. Gave Kate money to test assessor. Pods. But she wanted to leave Atlas. I guess that's not it. I don't have anything else with the money, though, I don't think. Incentive. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I'm live from, you can check my schedule page to see whenever I'm up. It's 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, but the schedule page updates to your time zone. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Did you see the video essay by any chance? Two tests. So that the test was timed differently? No, I guess not. I thought she was in the group before Lisa went crazy. Oh yeah, sorry, 2 to 6 Mountain. I'm actually Mountain time. Yeah, I did a video essay on RuneScape. Post the link to it, Swixen, 1 sec. So if you're watching the playthrough, you probably don't mind long-form content. Yeah, thanks for popping by. Money to test assess. James never came to a meeting. To pay a settlement fee. No drugs. Triple Goddess. I'm stuck on this one. Enjoyed the course and appeared happy? No.
Okay, that's it for now. Thank you.
I guess I'll go to the... I wanted to call him the coach, the chief really quick. I assume he's just going to say, hey, that thing that he said about the assessment.
Go on, Jenks.
Well, Ryan claims that the money was something to do with Kate's assessment rather than being a bribe or anything like that.
I'm sure he does.
But I couldn't get any further with it, unfortunately. However, I did see someone delivering boxes of poppy pods to James Wilson.
What? reports. Wilson's making opium as well.
Possibly. I can't get any further with him either.
Right. What's the connection between Wilson and Thompson again? I've totally forgotten that brain.
They both used to live at the farmhouse before Simon moved out with Emma.
So they've got history together. Well, we're missing something here, Jenks. Just try and quiz both of them. Find out about these poppies.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
Must be a contradiction somewhere. I think it would tell me if I had more stuff to say to James.
A couple more questions, if that's okay.
Specifically making it about the poppy pods, though. Oh, cool. Right on. Decoration, never extracted opium.
Thank you.
Oh, you know, I had the one that I just didn't do because it didn't follow my rule about the chief pop-up with Simon. I did mention talking to him, so... Interesting that that one didn't pop up then. Maybe I've been too dependent on that, but it's been generally true
please.
today.
Thank you.
You said you're allergic to opiates, but you took morphine in the mirror room. Okay, that's it.
You and Kate took morphine in the mirror room. That's what you said, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're allergic to opiates, Simon. Opium. You didn't take the morphine at all, did you?
I can't 100% depend on the chief thing.
Kate did, though.
I thought you were trying to outdo each other. That was the point, wasn't it?
We weren't trying to outdo each other as such.
Go on.
Ryan wanted me to test Kate. To see how far she would go to be prime candidate.
What candidate?
Prime candidate. It means the best person in the group, basically.
What do you mean, test her?
But you do it in pairs. One person's the tester, it's me, and the other person's the...
victim?
Well, it's not like that. It's completely consensual. It's just
still not a
boundary testing. Ryan wanted me to test Kate.
Normal
because they
boundary
thought she was
testing.
The best student.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I just did what I was told, okay?
Except you decided to give her morphine. To break the law.
Well, I can't change that now, can I? She didn't die of a morphine overdose, did she?
She died because she drowned. But she drowned for reasons that aren't clear.
Atlas seemed to have this all neatly worked out. If Simon's telling the truth, Atlas are lighting the fuse and then retiring to a safe distance, letting students test themselves and push themselves to their limits while avoiding all comeback. Is this what happened to Kate?
There's some intentional ham on the part of the inspector, like to kind of capture the tone of these games, but
Ask you a couple more things, please.
everybody else is giving it their all. I imagine games like this and, you know, Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker, like, here, get asked to do one of these, I'd jump on this opportunity.
Do you know what a prime candidate is at Atlas?
Yes, it's what every student wants to be. It's the best student. Apparently you get a great high-paid job afterwards. I don't think that really happens, though.
Did you know anyone in the running to be prime candidate?
What, like Simon? I don't think they picked Simon, to be honest. Well, he's got too many morals, and you can't have both at Atlas.
It's fair.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Becca, Ryan, and Paul. I guess James doesn't care about prime candidate status. That makes sense.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind.
Oh, nice. How's he doing? Did he resolve to look at chat less or figure out that there's certain puzzles he's not supposed to solve when he first encounters them?
Do you know what a prime candidate is?
At Atlas, it's the best student.
And what does that mean?
It means they get a guaranteed job with a very good salary. Well, that's the idea anyway.
But?
Mostly they aren't up to it.
And what happens then?
I get sacked.
Yikes.
That's all for the moment, thank you.
It's interesting watching him do The Witness, because like he's a really, really smart guy, but he's really doesn't play a lot of video games. And it's interesting to see someone who's not like super video game literate, for lack of a better word, but still able to like tackle the puzzles perfectly fine. But people are pumped for that. He found one that you're like not supposed to get the conveyance on how to solve it for like hours after you discover it, and he just kind of brute force figured it out because he's a smart guy. It's pretty cool. But also I was like, oh no, he doesn't have the video game vision to know that maybe he's not supposed to do this yet. Right?
What are prime candidates?
The best of the bunch. The peaches.
And so what does it mean to be a prime candidate?
Success. We have a special relationship with many major international companies. We provide them with our best students, and they get an instant job.
And what do you get out of it?
Well, it's a little kickback. It's just business, Inspector.
Be back later on, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, I think he's probably done some like basic first-person stuff in video games before, but like I don't think he'll see a element of the level and go, "Oh, I bet Jonathan Blow put that there to teach me this," right? Like, which is interesting because he'll see that when he does a Sudoku puzzle, right? He'll say, "Ah, I see. So this is left blank intentionally because if they gave me a clue here, it would mean this, 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 and this, and so on." I bet he'll come around to it once he's been playing it more. It's been really interesting to watch him. I hope he does Baba as you. Okay? That might actually be an easier pitch for him than The Witness.
Now, tell me what a prime candidate is.
You're learning a lot, aren't you, Inspector? Prime candidates are simply the best students, the ones with the most potential.
And what benefits do they get from that?
Well, they get the top job.
Which is?
Well, we have a deal with various multinationals. We train students to be exceptional, truly exceptional. And they get a wonderful top job. It's a very simple deal.
And how do you decide who the prime candidate is? Do you test students?
No.
Did you ever, say, ask Simon to test Kate, for instance?
Oh, you've actually been speaking to Simon, haven't you? I really wouldn't trust anything that Simon Thompson says. You know, he spent the best part
standing with the
of 2
drink
months trying to undermine Kate. No. Now, Simon Thompson, it really isn't my place to speculate, but if you're looking for motives, Inspector, he certainly had a few motives. More than I.
A motive to kill her, do you mean?
Now, that's very interesting, Inspector. Well, that's up to you to decide.
No, just regular motive. Students aren't tested. Well, okay, I'm expecting that's because I was trying to find one to match this, right? Gave the money to test assessor. Students aren't tested. Let me just confirm before I put this in.
Probably be back later.
I want to see if there's a chief pop up now. There sure is. Okay. That's pretty consistent. I wonder if it wanted to give me the Poppy Pods one first, though, which is why I wasn't getting a pop-up before. Students aren't tested. Auto-hypnosis. Nice.
Aha. Well, which one is it, Ryan? Do you test students or not?
Well, some of them, yes.
Including Kate?
Yes.
Why was she
I was so lost at the beginning of
she
this
was
game.
being tested because...
Until I figured out the Chief Cheese.
Because we wanted to see if she was good enough to become prime candidate, okay?
So Kate
was
in the running
drink
to be
in a
prime
rage.
candidate.
Yes!
And did you ask Simon to test her?
Yes, I did. But I didn't ask him to do anything stupid. He knew it was against course rules.
How far did you ask him to push her?
I didn't ask him to push her. I asked him to test her. There's a huge difference.
Dude, you're gonna
If Simon
blow out your
decided
love
to give her
mic.
too much caffeine or morphine or whatever, that's his responsibility. So if he did anything wrong, it was his own responsibility. He did it with his own mind and his own hand. We had nothing to do with it.
Damn, dude.
Midnight, and still no suspect, unless you count everyone I've interviewed. It's no surprise that Ryan wants to avoid any suggestion of being responsible for Kate's death, but I wonder if the man protests just a little too much.
The main thing says talk to Paul, so we'll start here.
Ask you a couple more things, please. Did you know Kate Vine was a prime candidate?
No.
Well, okay, that's all.
It for the time being. Thank you.
That's all for now. Bye. See ya.
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
Midnight.
Do you know whether Kate was in the running to be prime candidate or not?
I don't, but I do think she would have been chosen just because she was, Kate.
You didn't discuss it with Kate?
No. No, she never talked about Atlas.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
How about Simon? Simon should know something about this, you'd
How
think.
do you think you'd have reacted if you'd found out that Kate had been chosen to be prime candidate?
Was she?
I'm just asking how you think you'd react.
I don't know. I wouldn't react in any way, really. I'm not bothered. I don't think she was, though.
What makes you think that?
Well, it's just an impression I got. She's a bit flaky, to be honest. She's just not really prime candidate material.
What is prime candidate material? Is it you?
That's all for the moment. Thank you.
Do I get a chief thing now? I wonder what Paul thinks about prime candidates. You also haven't asked Paul about prime candidates. Okay. I guess it's specifically about Kate's prime candidate status.
Questions, if you don't mind. Was Kate a prime candidate?
Well, as Ryan has probably already told you, yes, she was.
Did you ask Simon to test her?
Yes, it's company policy. Leaders don't get involved.
And it covers your back, of course.
Well, nobody knows the students better than they do, Inspector. It's much better to let them just work it out among themselves.
It isn't very professional to force students to test each other to the point where one of them gets killed, Paul.
We don't force students to do anything that they don't want to do, Inspector.
So
you sure
don't
about that?
Force them into being tested.
No,
Lisa,
we don't encourage anybody to hurt or offend anybody else here.
You don't use threshold testing, for instance?
No. If Simon Thompson went too far with Kate, that's his responsibility, not ours. He's the one you should be speaking to, if truth be told. I don't trust him myself.
Marstead. Leaders aren't involved. Don't use threshold testing. Students not encouraged to hurt each other.
Be back later on, if that's
I don't
okay.
buy that, based on everything else this guy has said, right? Call the chief for an update. Okay, so something he just said is a contradiction.
Couple more questions, if that's okay.
Leaders don't get involved. Kate was being tested. Don't use threshold testing. Students not encouraged to hurt each other. Ryan was interested in blondes. Unhappy about the theft. We're seeing the key ring. Entrance age at 21. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, it says didn't encourage Emma to criticize Liam's birthmark. Okay. 'Cause that seemed like something that they were being forced to do, but I guess he didn't say that he did do it. Wouldn't committing a fake theft be a test? I guess it was a demonstration. Leaders don't get involved in testing students. Really? That's not it? I really would have thought that was going to be it. Okay. Big theft. It was trying to play him. No place for guilt in business. Running out of things.
Okay, that's it for now. Thank you.
Talk to the chief, but I think he's just going to say it was something. I think he's going to give me the wrong half of the clue that I already know. Oh, wrong way.
Hello, Jenks. Yes, I'm still up. Thanks for asking.
Chief Ryan admitted that he asked Simon to test Kate to see if she was good enough to be prime candidate, but he's throwing it all back on Simon. Says it was up to Simon about how he went about testing her.
Very convenient. What does Paul say?
He pretty much backs Ryan up. He claims they don't do any threshold testing.
Well, that's a load of horse droppings. He knows you're onto him, Jenks, which means you're getting somewhere at last. It's only taken you until midnight, but well done nonetheless. Listen, call me back. I'm watching an old movie, but Christopher Lee's only just turned up, so I'll be here for another hour or so. Yeah?
Okay, Chief. I'll call again.
What movie? Christopher Lee's only just turned up, and there's an hour left. It's not Fellowship of the Ring. But I guess that technically counts as old now, doesn't it? 14 years at the time of this one. Let me try reading through the notes on stuff. It could be Dracula, yeah. The old Hammer horror films. Students, pods, Sunday for Kate. Kate took the morphine. It has to test Kate by Ryan. Okay, so this seems to suggest that the mirror room is testing related. I'm going to try that since it mentions that one.
A few more questions, please. Thank you.
I guess this is like the second or maybe third clue in the game where the contradiction is dependent on a third person's testimony that didn't generate a unique clue. Mirror room used for meditation. No. Oh, did the CD say something about this as a threshold test?
You say
I didn't write it down.
Don't endorse.
Maybe it wasn't what I
threshold
thought.
Testing, that's the phrase, isn't it?
Yes.
Except you do, Paul, because you told me that the students use that CD in the mirror room. I've listened to that CD, and it very clearly
Shit, I did not write that down.
Testing.
I don't know if I can hear the recording
Paul.
again.
We don't really use hypnosis. The students
don't deserve
aren't
that one.
really tested, but I am this close to launching a full-scale investigation.
Look, we get a kickback from these students, and they have to be exceptional. Of course we have to test them. That doesn't mean we do anything illegal. What do you think we do? Bump off the ones we don't like?
Well, that depends on how far you push them, doesn't it?
Well, we certainly don't kill them. Nobody here wanted Kate dead.
I'm sure they didn't. But what do you expect, Paul, when you put students under that much pressure?
She was a very, very valuable student. She was worth a lot to the business.
Really? And how much would that be?
Well, if you really want to know, 50 grand.
She was worth 50 grand?
Yes.
What, you were selling her?
Of course we were selling her. You don't get this, do you? We make perfect employees. Month after month. That's all we do.
It's all right,
What
it's
do you
funny.
mean, perfect employees?
What big business needs, Inspector, more than anything else, is none of this altruistic, goody-goody crap. What we look for is people with ambition, no ethics. Push, greed is good, all right? We don't deal with all this comfort stuff. The survival of the fittest. That's all there is. There's no higher purpose, no big plan. There's nothing at the end of the rainbow, except what you have and you can enjoy in the here and now.
Second camera angle.
And what do you enjoy now, Paul?
You're gonna have to excuse me, Inspector. I'm a very busy man. I've got work to do.
You may make yourself available to me for like 6 hours. Well, not that long, but...
I'll see myself out.
See ya, Paul. So, a little concerning.
Lovely man, your father.
Shut the gate on your way out.
Like Jenks. Who doesn't at midnight?
He's doing his level best to shut this place down. Get rid of him.
He's a policeman. We can't just...
You sort this, Ryan. You man up and you sort it. Tonight.
Yikes. Not Kyle.
That doesn't sound good. Two totally morally bankrupt men are plotting to get rid of me. It's midnight. I don't
Final
have any
trip to
backup
the-
and I don't even have a mobile phone.
Let me go
This is
out into the
potentially
woods.
Quite bad. What's Kyle got to do with it? I think I might make my way over to Atlas while Ryan isn't there. Maybe lock myself in.
Run into crazy people doing cult things in this part of the woods repeatedly. The fuck?
Prove to me that you're man enough to do this, Kyle, and then you can deal with that ridiculous police inspector.
What the fuck? Oh, he beat me over here fast.
What is this? What the hell? Scotland Yard. Not hell. Hello, Ryan.
What, the Scotland Yard?
What are you doing here?
Inspecting. So, come on. Let's have it.
I don't think you'd understand, Inspector. The best thing that you can do is turn around, go away, and leave us to it.
Knife.
What?
That knife gives me a perfect right to stick my nose in, investigate, and interfere.
This?
We'd have to
is all
continue
part of
chasing
the
you because we
Atlas
don't
course.
carry
It's a
guns.
physical endurance exercise.
Drop the knife. The knife, Kyle!
Kyle.
Drop it!
Fucking Kyle. Yeah, keep talking while he's actively trying to stab someone.
Well, please, Inspector.
Is it just
you've
like a
poked your
pocket
nose
knife?
into Atlas's affairs enough times to know that imaginative flair is part of the course's success. Our lessons are reinforced by a unique emotional experience.
That's one way to put it.
It's an extremely evocative tool.
Well, it's a good job you're not in charge of the national curriculum.
Now look, Inspector, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're thinking. But believe me, Atlas had
Maximum
nothing to
cheese
do
here at
with
the
the
end.
deaths of those people.
Eyewitness account of a satanic sacrifice in the woods. That's not what we call circumstantial evidence, Ryan.
Simon. Now, I saw Simon walking home with Kate last Friday after the meeting. Now, Simon had some strange idea that he was in the running to become prime candidate. Well, a knob of butter has more chance of becoming prime minister. Oh, wait.
So are you telling me that...
Simon killed her? Well, it seems reasonable. It's likely, isn't it?
any more likely than you, Ryan.
Gotta get, like, the,
I know. Police brutality.
Always Sunny or, Curb Your Enthusiasm music for a knob of butter becoming Prime Minister.
You okay?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
You save someone from being sacrificed, and that's the thanks you get. If that wasn't an occult ceremony, I don't know what is. The Rands have been lying all along. But what's Simon going to say about Ryan's accusation?
Good question.
Ask you a couple more things, please. What would you say if I said it's been suggested that you were seen walking home with Kate after Atlas last Friday?
What? By who?
The same person who suggested that you wanted Kate out of the picture because you found out she was in the running to be prime candidate.
What? Who said that?
Oh, jeez.
I didn't think I was in the running.
Trying to play the music, but...
It was Ryan, wasn't it?
I am in no position to say.
It was Ryan.
Simon, calm down.
Center arrest like 4 people.
Kate's driving license, give it to me.
Why?
Kate's driving license, please. See that pattern on the tape there? Let me show you something. See this pattern? Now look at that. It's the same pattern. This has come from the same roll of tape as this.
So?
So there's only one person that's taped like that. Ryan. He gave me this piece of tape when I was in his office once. Why has Kate's driving licence got a piece of Ryan's tape on it?
I have no idea, Simon.
Where did you find it?
Oh, by the lake.
You could have said this at like 5 p.m.
Ryan was testing her. He was doing a boundary test to see how much she would do, how far she would go to be a prime candidate. But it all went wrong. Okay. It's one of the things we do at the course, right? You give something that's important to you to someone else. Then they go and hide it somewhere. It's to teach you to not be bothered when you lose something that's important to you, all right?
Of course.
Kate
that makes sense.
gives her driving license to Ryan. Ryan goes and hides it somewhere down the lake. Kate finds out. She goes down looking for it, probably drunk, and she falls in.
That's such a lame explanation.
I'm afraid I find that a bit far-fetched, Simon.
It makes perfect sense if you know anything at all about how Atlas works.
Just the result
Simon.
of complete stupidity.
If you got the tape from Ryan, Kate could have got it from him.
He told me he doesn't lend it out.
He lent it to you.
But I didn't kill her!
He doesn't lend out his
Do a
tape.
lab test on the card. His DNA will be all over it.
And what if yours is all over it?
It won't be. I didn't kill her. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. I need some painkillers.
I hope that he's right, because it would be kind of hilarious if it was just this really fucking stupid Randian, like, business cult that hides your driver's license from you, and then you're drunk and an idiot, so you trip in the water and drown. No.
Where did he go in such a hurry? Was he trying to act as suspiciously as possible?
Patterned sticky tape. Only Ryan has tape like that. Looks like a Band-Aid. Emma, James, and Rebecca. Okay.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind. Did Simon mention walking home with anyone after the meeting last Friday?
No, he just came home. Why?
He didn't mention walking home with Kate.
No, definitely not.
Have you seen this anywhere before?
I've seen it somewhere, but can't remember. Sorry, no.
Thank you for trying.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
Hopefully not, though. James and Rebecca. Do Rebecca, then we'll do James. So have you seen this tape before? Yeah, exactly. Immediate de-escalation. I don't think that Jenks has any authority to arrest
Ask
anyone.
about a few more things, please.
I find this very alarming indeed.
Have you seen patterned tape like this anywhere before?
Oh, Ryan's got some. I know because I borrowed it.
When was that?
A couple of months ago?
Have you still got it?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it since then.
That's bizarre.
Thank you.
Okay.
Probably be back later.
Wait, seriously? Call the chief for an update on the tape? What?
Couple more questions, if that's okay.
Ryan had some patterned sticky tape. Last saw the tape 2 months ago. I gotta talk to the chief. I have no idea. I assume that's correct. I guess I'll talk to... Let me talk to the chief first, then I'll talk to James. The big break.
Just as it gets to the good bit, great. Go on, Jenks.
So, where to start? Paul admitted that they do use threshold testing. Apparently they get a wedge of cash from various companies in exchange for each prime candidate they produce.
Interesting.
Also, I met Ryan and
Various
some of
companies.
his friends in the woods in the middle of some sort of occult ceremony. I have no idea what they were doing, but it did not look good. But Ryan insisted that Simon walked Kate home after the meeting last Friday. He's claiming Simon killed her.
And what does Simon say?
He doesn't agree, not surprisingly. He says it was Ryan, because of something to do with a piece of tape stuck to Kate's driving license, which Simon claims belonged to Ryan. Claims it was Ryan who was testing Kate by sticking the driving license to a tree in the woods in the dark and telling Kate to get it, knowing she'd fall in. And no, before you ask, it doesn't make any sense to me either.
What?
Right, so basically Simon says Ryan was testing her and Ryan says Simon was testing her. Well, either one of them is lying or neither of them are. And nobody was testing anybody.
I suppose that's always a possibility.
Wouldn't surprise me, Jenks. Well, I don't know. I can't help you. But you're as close as you're going to get. Just check everything that everyone's said. Go through everyone's statements. The answer's in there somewhere. Call me back when there's some good news, eh? Preferably a confession.
Well, if I can get one.
I feel like I have enough.
Good night.
A woman was being murdered in the woods, and I overheard... I guess maybe they could argue when they said, take care of me, they didn't mean kill me, but... Aren't there, like, some mob rules for that?
Please?
I guess that's in the U.S.
Do you know how well Simon
Won't someone
Kate?
rid me of this
Really?
turbulent
Did
priest?
you ever see them together?
No, why? Do you think he killed her?
I've no idea. Do you think he'd be capable of that?
Don't you think we're all capable of it?
No, I don't.
Sure. So you've never been in your police car responding to an incident, driven past a school at high speed?
Don't know. Maybe.
Well, you've answered your own question then. When you've got a need and things get in your way, it's human nature to either ignore them or get rid of them. Any way you can. That's all murder is, isn't it?
Maybe you're right.
Thinks everyone is capable of murder.
Ever
It's
seen
got to be at
tape
Rebecca,
like
because
this
that's when the
anywhere
chief
before?
popped up, but...
Nah.
Be back later on, if that's okay.
Probably going to say there must be a contradiction somewhere. I assume it's at Rebecca, and it's about the tape because of the aforementioned rule about the chief. And everyone keeps talking about this fucking tape, so it has to be here, but... It's because of Rico? Gotcha.
Ask you a couple more things, please.
Ryan had patterned sticky tape. Last saw the tape 2 months ago. Didn't know Kate was a prime candidate. Where can I see anything about tape? Never seen the business card. Stunt. Waste money on guitars. Seen a Black Mirror. I mean, this mentions the word tape. This was last Friday. Can I see the tape on the window? I guess this is part of the problem, right? Because
Thank you. Probably be back later.
I can't, like, closely inspect some of these things. I should just pick them because they both say tape, and why not, right? But yeah, I can't see it from here. Well, I'll try them because they both mention the word tape, but
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
Is it the 2 months ago? Oh my god, that's it? How is he going to arrive at it? Is he going to be like, let me see that
saw
tape?
that sticky tape 2 months ago. Is that correct?
Yes.
They show us a picture of the broken window
you used
earlier
it
in the
last
game.
week to tape over the broken window outside. That's the same tape.
But it's like tape that's like this thin.
You see, the reason I'm asking is that it's exactly the same tape that was found attached to Kate's driving license.
The only tape
found
that
at the
exists in this
scene.
town.
The tape that only Ryan has. Ryan, and of course...
They did show the window earlier? Okay, I guess that was
So what are you
a couple
saying?
months ago for me.
Who's got the tape now?
It's too bad you can't see a picture of it in the evidence
No.
list.
No, I don't know where it is. Why are you asking me about this tape?
You seem nervous, Rebecca. Is there a problem?
Well, you're practically accusing me of having something to do with that woman's murder, aren't you?
I wasn't accusing you of anything, Rebecca. Unless there's something you'd like to tell me.
No, I wouldn't like to tell you anything.
Okay, well, that's fine. Obviously, we'll be swabbing everyone in the area for DNA, so if anything comes up on Kate's license, DNA traces.
What'll come up? Nothing will come up. Right, I've had enough. I've got to get back.
Rebecca! Would you like to explain to me exactly what is going on?
Which bit? The fact that some leggy bitch was trying to steal my husband?
Whoa.
I think you had better tell me what you know, Rebecca.
Okay. You want to know what I know? Kate Vine seduced my husband and was going to blackmail him. Not
Holy
only
shit.
did she sleep with him, that whore did it just for his money, our money.
How did you work that out?
I heard her. I knew it was her arguing with Emma Bowman. Emma was trying to talk her out of it.
And how did she come to be at the lake?
She dropped that driving license thing when she came in. She was drunk. She dropped her bag. I took it out to the woods and stuck it over the lake. Then I waited for her. When she came out, I told her where it was, said someone had just run off into the woods with it.
You led her to the lake.
She was reaching out over the lake to get it. I didn't do anything. She just fell in.
But you let her drown.
It was dark. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't help her.
Really? Did you try, Rebecca?
Well, it was too late. She was just flapping about in the water. It was pathetic. She was making these gurgling sounds.
And what did you do?
I got a big stick. I just pushed her down with it until she stopped.
Oh, that's a normal thing to do.
Well, she was dead anyway. What did it matter?
You killed her, Rebecca.
But she slept with my husband.
She didn't, Rebecca.
What do you mean?
You got the wrong girl.
Who? Emma.
Yep.
It was Emma.
I'm gonna go kill Emma. Give me 1 second.
Rebecca Rand, I am arresting you for the murder of Kate Vine.
You can't arrest people.
You don't have to say anything, but anything you do say may be taken down and will be used in evidence against you. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, it appears that Kate Vine's death was a tragic case of mistaken identity. But there are some loose threads here.
Misadventure.
What was Ryan doing with Kyle and that girl in the woods?
What did you think he was doing?
And what really happened to Liam last year? It seems I've only scratched the surface.
To find out in the next episode, Contradiction 2.
Trying to find out about Paul Rand's past is like peering into dense fog. He gives nothing away and covers his tracks with military efficiency. However, what is known is that Paul Rand has a lot of connections in high places. Politicians, celebrities, business leaders. Perhaps James Wilson's ideas weren't too wide of the mark after all. I get the feeling there's still a lot more to learn about the Rand business empire.
You're gonna have to excuse us.
That little cool shot effect there.
We'll be open again very soon. Thank you for your interest.
Made the Baphomet pentacle into Paul Rand. Okay, so there's probably going to be a Contradiction too. At least it sounds like they want to make one. I like that game. I think that, honestly, 90% of the clues were reasonable, and it got more reasonable when I figured out the Call the Chief cheese, which I think you're supposed to use that because the alternative to using the light bulb is to just visit every person every single time you talk to someone over and over, and that seems more brute forcey than what I think the developers intended from you. There were a couple of clues here and there that were a little janky or a little bit of a stretch, I thought. Unfortunately, I think the weakest clue in the entire game is the final one with the tape. I guess what they were trying to go for a thing of like tying a really early event of the broken window into something at the very end of the game, which is cool. But I thought it was kind of clumsy how Simon just shows it to you, right? If it had been something that you had discovered independently, I think it would have worked a little bit better. Oh, are there multiple endings? Interesting. It didn't feel like there were too many choices in this game, but if any. But, like, comparing this to its contemporaries, I think this game did a much better job of being, like, a more modern take on this kind of game, right? Like, I got lost significantly less than I did in something like Titanic Adventure Out of Time or even Infectious Madness. I think Her Story is still, to me, like the best example of this genre that I've played, but it also is different because it's much more specifically focused on your like Google foo, which isn't the same thing as like going up against different people's accounts of events. Said Ryan lent her the tape, but Simon said Ryan never lent it out. Huh. Yeah, I guess that would be... You could catch that one. Chief clues, replay scenes. And that would be one that would make sense to highlight after they said that. I think that, to me, the weak clues that weren't the tape one were usually ones that involved a third piece of information that wasn't contained in the clue browser, right? Like the specific text of the CD that plays in the mirror room was one of them. And there were a couple others where in order to make the connection, you had to be informed on what something was based on a third party who didn't actually give you a clue that you were able to ask a question about. And I think that doing that would be fine if it was more common throughout the game, but there were like fewer than 5 instances of that happening. And I guess the taped window was one of them where you got to see the taped window once, but there wasn't like a picture of the window with the tape in it in your evidence log somewhere. So you weren't able to 100% depend on it. Revisit information if it's going to be relevant. maybe have more of the pictures. Well, I think they let you replay the conversations about individual items, but 99% of the time, you never need to replay a conversation. Like the text summary of the conversation is sufficient. So it's weird when in the 1% of times it does matter. You've been trained not to bother with that. But it's the kind of thing where I'd be really interested to see the sequel to this game. Curious what they learned from it. Pretty good filmmaking on the whole. Pretty good acting. Like, it's pretty simple shot, reverse shot stuff, but and day for night stuff at the nighttime. But I thought it looked good. I didn't think it looked like super amateurish or bad. How many total contradictions are in the game? I don't know. Can I tell from this list here, maybe? Replay scenes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 25. So out of 25 contradictions, 3 of them were janky, 3 or 4 of them maybe. Yeah, they put effort into the props, the set design. They could have made this same game with significantly less effort, so I appreciate the work that they put into it. Pretty janky. Jesus. Get out of here. All right, that was cool, though. Let me know if another game comes out from this dev in the same style. I'd be interested in checking it out.